Hello, and welcome to the Mild and Lazy Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
I'm Andrew.
And on today's episode, we have a big one for you. As we teased in the previous episode, we're here in studio with our first ever in-studio guest. We've got some news in the junk mail segment. We're going to introduce a new segment called Questionable Behavior from the Internet. Our Mount Rushmore this week is our favorite 90s athlete. And, of course, we've got Pick Your Poison. And this week on the movie review, we're going to review... did you get a year on it?
1996.
1996 classic Space Jam with the remake set to come out here shortly. And then we're going to talk a little sports and, of course, wrap it up with what are we watching and what are we listening to. But if I could get you to please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes and follow us on Instagram at Mild and Lazy. So, as I mentioned, we're here in the studio with our good buddy, Alex Carter.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I know. It's just I live so far away, but
I know.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. It is a far drive.
It is a far drive, yeah.
I went up there for the Lakers game. It was worth it because we won by 15. That was a sweet game. It was like down 15, win by 15 at half.
No LeBron, though,
Yeah,
unfortunately. He got hurt
I got
right
a free
after
shirt,
I bought
though.
the tickets. Yes, you did.
I gave it away.
You gave it to
Andrew,
my
is it
fiance.
weird having your daddy here in studio?
Would that take 3 minutes to mention how I lost him twice in
Not
fantasy?
even.
A minute 55.
Hey, you know what? I already planned this, assholes. I already thought about this. Okay, so I was in a football league with him last year, and I won that league. I've been in a basketball league with you for a few years. I've won that 2 times.
Yeah.
And in my last couple years, I was in the fantasy football league for Ziggy the last 2 years. I was in the other fantasy basketball league championship for 2 years, won it. And then in fantasy basketball, I won it last year, and I was in the championship this year.
Have you ever beat Alex, though?
And basketball, twice.
We're talking about sports people care about, football.
Alex loves basketball. That's like his favorite sport. That's probably even more dreadful for him.
Matt's beat me. That's why he wants to mention that.
Yeah.
By less than a point.
God bless Russell Wilson.
Hey, but you know what, guys? It's New Year.
Yep, New Year.
And I can't wait to make you cry.
We are not that far away, boys.
Yeah, we're going to the draft house next month.
I think we're
wait.
28 days away from the first preseason game. The Hall of Fame game.
I can't wait till training camp starts for all the teams.
It's really soon if the Hall of Fame game's coming up, yeah.
Yep. So, Alex,
we get hard knocks.
what have you been up to, man?
Not much, man. Just watching a lot of playoff basketball.
Yeah.
Wish my Mavericks were still in it, but we got bounced in 7 with against the Clippers.
That's an honorable thing, dude.
Really,
To lose to the Clippers in 7,
Especially-
with a healthy Kawhi.
especially after what the show they put on after in the
'Cause-
following rounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say next
amazing.
round they bounced the Jazz, number 1 seed in 6 games,
Which-
so we took them further than Jazz did.
In the 2 closeout games were without Kawhi.
Exactly.
And then the whole
Sucks to be a Jazz fan.
the whole series against the Suns was without Kawhi, right? And they made it to 6.
Yeah.
So
I think it was out the whole time.
Andrew,
Yeah.
what have you been up to?
Question?
No.
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed my yard when you pulled in, looking pretty shaggy.
Yeah,
Pretty overgrown.
I did, actually.
Funny story. Claire volunteered to mow, took the push mower out there,
Mhm.
thought it needed gas, poured gas in where the oil goes.
Oh, no.
Lasted about 30 seconds before it died out.
Oh, no.
So now we have to either call, because it's like a whole process, to get that fixed. I was like, can we just turn it upside down and drain it out? She's like, no, it's way more complicated than that. So we're going to either try to get it fixed or we're going to have to buy a new one. Maybe Paul will listen and send me a new lawnmower like he did the crock pot. That'd be very clutch to come in with that. But yeah, the yard's joking back. She was so bummed out. She was like, I hope they don't come in and criticize our yard. It's like, they're not like bitchy junior high girls. They're not going to come in and the first thing they're going to do is critique our yard.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. She was like, we have to pick up everything. I was like, Matt's been over all the time. Our house is always like this. He
Y'all
never
got
says
beer?
anything.
Cool. I'm cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's not like that with guys. Like, they're not going to say anything. We're just going to go hang out.
No.
But yeah, funny story. She thought she'd be nice and mow for me one day when I was at work, and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of messed up." I was like, "What'd you do?" Yeah, it was pretty. She was very frustrated with herself, but I laughed it out.
it's a thought
that's
that
all
counts.
good.
I mean, when you
Yeah.
think about it, I looked it up. I was like, worst case scenario, we buy a new one. It's like $250. We'll take a little out of savings. She was like almost in tears.
Yeah, but I see them on like Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Oh yeah, you can get a used one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like worst case scenario, we buy brand new. I was like, yeah, we can get a used one. We can get it. We're gonna try to get it fixed, obviously first. But yeah, so yard needs some work. I'm gonna have to borrow Dakota, my brother-in-law, his mom's. But I was like, dude, I'm not going. I look so shady, with like my appearance. I'm not going to some little old lady's house and taking her lawnmower and driving away. I was like, he needs to like go with me because we're only a few blocks away. They live like three blocks behind us, and I'll pick that up. So I'm probably gonna have to mow this weekend. But
that's
I'll
right.
I'll send you guys
right?
a picture. Yeah, they moved about a year ago. The house they bought was his mom's old house.
Mm-hmm.
She bought an even smaller house and then sold it to them, for like a fantastic fucking price.
Nice. That's actually what's happening with us.
like,
Kayla and I are about to buy
Wish I could
our first
have that.
house.
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, it's our great uncle's. He's giving it to us for a good price as well.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
Yeah, we just got lucky with that as well.
And
Cool,
we
cool,
can't
cool,
buy
cool, cool.
shit because everything's ridiculously priced.
Dude, home ownership
It's
is the
insane.
most overrated
Yeah.
farce. No, you don't want to wait till you wait till you get that first bill and you look at, okay, this is what went on.
Oh, I've already seen.
What-
we're
what-
that deep into the process.
Yeah,
I
what
know
went to
what it's gonna
escrow,
be.
what went to interest. Oh, look, here's my principal. Oh, $300 of
Dude,
an
when I saw
$1,800
the-
payment. It's
like
fucking
the-
ridiculous.
The first, they take, they add up like 3 months. They want 3 months in advance for like the escrow and stuff. I was like, whoa! I thought the closing costs were going to be a lot less than that, but nope.
Yeah, you'll at the bare
need to
minimum
fork
you'll
up
put
a little
about
bit more.
10,000 down.
When was the last time either one of you went to CC's? Feces Pizza.
Shit, couple years. Why are we going?
Oh, it's
No,
been
sounds pretty-
within the year.
Does anybody know how humiliating it is to shit in that bathroom?
Dude.
I was
I did not know this conversation was taking that left turn.
I was mid.
I thought you were gonna say like, "Hey, they got a new pizza out" or
No,
something.
they've got the same shit since 1994.
That's true. They're not very original.
I was mid buffet, right? And I was going to town. I was putting on a fucking performance, dude. I was like 12 pieces deep. And then, like, that dump just, like, hit the lower intestine and just, like, a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it back to work. I had to go in there.
You were on a lunch break.
Yeah.
Lunch break with CC's?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's like, hopefully it was a late lunch break. Or you're going to be miserable the rest of the night.
No, I was good.
Once
But
you got it all
dude,
out.
I could not. I was like, I'm not going
Dude.
to make it back to work.
You know what you should have done? This is a pro tip. Belk. They have the nicest bathrooms. I always tell Claire, if you have to use the bathroom in public, go to Belk or Belk's. That's right there.
I like that.
That little department store,
There
that
wa-
Southern Charm. It's like
You have your secret restroom.
No. I'm
Dude,
telling you.
it's so clean in there.
Maybe I was not making.
You know, because no one goes to
You'd have
Belk.
the duck walk over
It
there.
was everything I could to clench my
Clench
ass
cheeks, yep.
to get to that. And then, of course, you go in there and it's a fucking abomination in there. Yeah. Exactly.
The fart button comes in clutch for the first time.
I don't know why Matt wasn't on
Dude.
it.
I know. We've had this button here the whole time. You're talking about taking a shit.
Dude. Like, kids have been pissing on the seat all fucking day.
gross,
so I'm
dude.
sitting here, dude, it is coming out. Like, and so I'm like wiping the seat. Like, I'm like, I resigned. I was like, I'm gonna shit my pants.
It's better to shit my pants.
As a 35-year-old man, I'm gonna shit my pants. And I was like trying to lay toilet paper down, and it kept breaking into single squares. Trying to lay toilet paper
It's
down.
like,
on
a,
the
it's like a
one-ply?
ticking clock, too, when
Dude.
this is happening. Like, it's a countdown, man. It's coming.
Dude, and then I finally got on there, and I fucking blew my ass out. My legs were out in front of me like Lloyd from
it's like from
Dumb
Dumb
and
and Dumber.
Dumber.
Yeah, exactly.
Holding onto the bowl.
And then I just felt so humiliated walking out of the bathroom.
Did you
like,
go
I
on?
felt
Did you go on lunch with anybody from work?
I was with Lauren and Landry.
They see you walking out like wiping sweat off. You're like ghost white.
You know he's sweating.
I'm sure Lauren.
sucks
I'm
so
sure Lauren
bad.
had some great burns for you.
It sucks so bad.
Can I
dude.
tell you?
felt
Let me tell you all my
so-
tip. Like, I don't know if I'm the one to invent this or not, but you know those bathrooms that have the triple fold paper towels that you can just pull out one by one?
Yeah, the trifold towels. Yeah.
The trifold towels. 2 of those, bring them to the stall with you. You got 3 layers between your cheeks and the seat, and it's always a perfect measurement for like the seat. So you're probably not supposed to flush those, but it's a public restroom,
Dude,
so I don't give a fuck.
Every turd I drop, even if it's at my house or if it's at CC's, I take the time, if I have time, to lay out toilet paper around that rim because I'm not
Yeah, and
putting my cheeks down where
used to do
20 other people were today.
Yeah.
I always, and then you know what else I do? Because
So
this is
nasty.
fucking disgusting. I'll get paper towels like you're talking about, and I'll lay them down like at the base there, because that's where all the splatter pee is. And when you
Good
pull
point.
your pants down, your pants go in that fucking pee. So I'm like Prince Charles over here. I lay down toilet paper around the rim, and then I'll put paper down there, and then I'll sit down. Unless it's like a mat situation, and then I'm just shitting my pants.
Always take the toilet paper roll and trash the first roll because I don't know what sort of diseases are sitting on the top.
Public bathrooms are fucking disgusting.
Do one roll around,
and
rip
it,
and,
and toss it.
Yeah.
Especially if I need. Well, I prefer not to blow my nose in a public restroom because of that reason. But even when wiping or what have you.
Yeah, it was not one of my finest
Andrew
moments.
looks disgusted.
Dude, this is not where I expected our opening conversation to go with Matt blowing ass at a CC's. I thought it was going to be like, yeah, with Landry, we played air hockey. It's like, no, he almost shit his pants.
You act like we're fucking, I don't know, some high-class podcast. Like we don't
That's
talk
true.
about
We're pretty
shit,
lowbrow.
dicks, and balls every episode. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. All right, so with that being said...
Moving on. Sweet transition.
With that being said, let's get into the news desk. All right, and I've got the first story. Actually, I've got every story because...
Yeah, I'm retiring, guys.
Yeah, he's backing out of
I can't even read good.
He's backing out of the news story reading.
I'm doing everyone a favor there.
So the headline reads, Heinz, the condiment brand, starts a petition to make hot dogs and buns come in equal packs. And I say they are fighting the fucking good
About
fight.
fucking time, dude.
What's
All
the
right,
reason for that again?
So you have to
Hold on.
buy more of one or the other.
I've got a follow-up article that explains why.
Awesome.
I came prepared this week. So it says food waste is more of a known issue with American consumers, wasting nearly 40% of the food they buy, according to the Natural Resources Defense Council. Why then are hot dog makers and hot dog bun makers not doing their part? Hot dogs, Heinz Ketchup Canada says in a new video, often come in packs of 10, while hot dog buns regularly come in groups of 8. It continues, why can't Big Bun and Big Dog get together on this? Steve Martin's character in the 1991 film Father of the Bride said, I want to buy 8 hot dogs and 8 hot dog buns to go with them, Martin's character said while tearing buns out of a package at a supermarket. But no one sells 8 hot dog buns. They only sell 12 hot dog buns. So I end up paying for 4 buns I don't need. So I am removing the
supercalifragilistic.
Yeah.
Expialidocious.
That's it.
Now Heinz Ketchup Canada is getting involved in this decade-long struggle. Yeah.
You know what you do with those extra buns, though, is just make really good fucking sub sandwiches.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't like...
Yeah, you don't waste it.
Yeah, I don't go to food.
But-
Let's look at this body.
So what do y'all think about that? About time?
It's about goddamn
Yeah.
time somebody starts talking about real issues.
Okay. So I've got a follow-up article explaining why they don't come in equal packaging.
I can't wait to hear this. There's
So,
no way it's going to make sense.
This is from Avery Newmark at National and World News. And the article reads, this uneven hot dog to bun packaging ratio is weird, but according to the National Hot Dog Sausage Council, because that's a thing, the reason isn't as strange as you may think.
Wait a second.
That sounds so made up, but yet so official at the
Can
same
I get
time.
a job?
It's like something Landry would make up and be president of.
I feel like I'm an expert in this area. I should apply. The NHDSC, which was founded in 1994.
It's got like 20, almost.
Wait, 94?
Yeah.
20.
So this has been around longer than when Space Jam came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Explained that the mismatched packaging is because of the way these items were sold many years ago. In 1940, hot dogs began being produced in packs of 10, which is what is typically seen in stores today. But buns are not in 10 packs because of the way they are baked. The NHDSC says sandwich rolls or hot dog buns most often come 8 to the pack because the buns are baked in clusters of 4 in pans designed to hold 8 rolls.
So they'd make one pan and then separate the two.
While baking pans now come in configurations that allow baking 10 and even 12 at a time, the 8-roll pan remains the most popular. The increased discussion about this odd issue comes on the heels of a recent petition by Heinz Ketchup Canada to end the hot dog to bun packaging balance. The petition had 13,346 signatures as of Thursday, and those numbers are climbing steadily. So
I'm on board. It makes all the sense.
Who concedes though? The buns or the wieners?
I say the buns because they said they have the pans to make it possible. But they're just going with the 8 bun racks because they're the most popular, which to me that's not a valid excuse.
No, it's a summer of change.
Is this the change that we all wanted?
Yeah.
Or they all
Yeah.
talked about?
This is the future America that we
Okay.
all want.
All right, next story.
Sausage Council, man.
Dude, I
That's
want to be a
amazing.
part of that council. Headline reads, Police chase ends at McDonald's drive-thru as woman orders food in the middle of pursuit. This is by ABC 7 News.
Such an American story right
A
there.
police chase of a woman in a stolen truck ended at McDonald's drive-thru after she tried to order food during the pursuit. The chase happened around 8:45 a.m. in Worcester, Massachusetts, Tuesday. Officers got a 911 call about a stolen pickup in the eastern part of the city, reported ABC News. The man that made the 911 call told officers that a woman whom he said he didn't know climbed into his car and drove away. He said his pickup truck had GPS and he could see its location. As officers made their way to the area of the stolen truck, they were flagged down by another driver who said the car had been hit by the truck minutes before. Joanna Gardell, 38, was identified as the person accused of stealing the truck, and the officers said they found her in the stolen truck a few blocks away. Quote, the officer activated his blue lights, got out of his cruiser, and approached the stolen vehicle, the Worcester Police Department said in a statement Tuesday. The operator drove away as the officer walked toward her. The officer got back into his cruiser and followed her at a low rate of speed, but she did not stop. Mrs. Gardell began to increase her speed on Main Street and drove through red lights. The officer deactivated his lights and sirens and stopped following her for safety reasons. The woman allegedly crossed into the wrong lane and oncoming traffic, hitting a van, officer said. Gardell allegedly pulled into the drive-thru at a nearby McDonald's and tried to order food, but the officers found her and tried to arrest her. She was just wanting a Big Mac before she got that shitty jail
Sounds
food.
like breakfast. You said it was early in the morning,
yeah,
right?
she wanted
She wanted
that
that McGriddle.
muffin. Yeah,
I'm a McGriddle
Yeah.
man.
yeah. So
Well, when you know you're going to jail and from a guy who's been there, right? Food sucks. You got to load up, man. You got to get something good.
Oh, you think that was her motive to go?
I'm
to
thinking if you
McDonald's?
already know
Yeah.
you're going, it's like, fuck it. I'm taking
y'all
a
just
McGriddle
hold
with
up.
me.
Y'all just
way
hold
smarter
up.
than I thought.
All right. So the next one. Headline reads: Methamphetamine in waterways may be turning trout into addicts. This is from CNN. Brown trout can become addicted to the illegal drug methamphetamine when it accumulates in waterways, according to new research. Researchers, led by Pavel Horky, a behavioral ecologist from the Czech University of Life Sciences in Prague, set out to investigate whether illicit drugs alter fish behavior at levels found in bodies of water, according to the study published Tuesday. So, guys, the moral of the story is meth goes in your arm, not down the toilet, because now
that-
you're affecting wildlife.
I was going to say, is that how it's getting there? People are flushing?
People are flushing it. People are
So-
flushing it,
to like, because they're getting raided or something?
or it's coming out in urine.
That's true.
It's coming out in urine.
Did it say where was this story from other than CNN? Is this
Czech
like,
Republic,
oh, this happened in the Czech Republic?
Yep.
I was thinking it was like
Alabama.
Kentucky or something. Yeah, where they have like,
Um,
I guess you could say anywhere in America has like a meth problem.
So it said trout that had spent 8 weeks in water containing methamphetamine selected water containing the drug in the 4 days after moving to fresh water.
Imagine how fast those fish are swimming though.
Dude,
Fucking
they're
zooming.
Yeah. All right. So Alex,
What's up?
you got
I got
spelling
a few.
bee.
Yeah, so I try to come prepared. I had a few little news stories / talking points, but the first Black American won the National Spelling Bee, who
Yep.
is also a 14-year-old girl. Her name is Zyla Avant-Garde. Is her
Avant-garde?
Avant-garde. So her father changed her name apparently, or changed their name to that, but pretty sweet last name if you ask me.
Yeah, isn't that a form of art? Avant-garde?
I think the exact definition is like bringing something new. It's just something. It's super
Yeah,
positive.
it's like an art term, I think.
But
That's cool.
that's not even the coolest thing about this whole situation. Well, first off, if you see the video of her winning,
She was like, it was just a really
it brings a
wholesome,
smile
sweet
to your
moment.
face.
Yeah,
she
it
literally
really was
spins
sweet.
around like a Disney princess. She's so happy.
Yeah.
But that's not even the coolest thing about this whole thing, and why I wanted to bring it up is that this is like a side hobby for her. Her actual like passion and love is basketball.
Mm-hmm. And she's like not a highly recruited girl, but she's like,
She's pretty talented.
yeah, she's kind of up there on early kind of college watch list is
Yeah.
what I read.
And
She's
I
a
don't-
baller.
I'm not sure if you saw this or not, but she also holds 3 Guinness Book of World Records for dribbling, like different sorts of dribbling. One of them, I only know one of them, but it's the most basketballs dribbled simultaneously. So, anyways, I thought that was pretty
How many
sweet.
was it?
I don't have that information.
Oh, Alex, you said you came prepared.
I saw,
But he's also fitting right in by not.
Yeah, I was saying, you know what? That's very common of this.
but the videos, at least the highlights I saw online, she was dribbling at least like 6 or 7 of them.
Well, you know
just
she's going to be
in a circle,
like starting point guard at like Dartmouth or Cornell or some Ivy League school.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. All right, TMZ, tell us about Drake.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing that I saw was, which at least Andrew's, I'm not sure if Matt heard anything about this, but Drake went on a date at Dodger Stadium. He rented out the entire Dodger Stadium for this date. The funny thing is no telling. I mean, he may have just known a guy to do this, or he paid a lot of money. I'm not sure.
It's probably the second one.
You think so?
Or he probably knows.
Could be both. You know, he knows a guy and he paid a lot of money.
But the thing is, he's trying to go on this romantic date, obviously, and trying to woo this woman. And an ABC helicopter flew over and took a photo, and he looks so annoyed by it. It's just hilarious. The interesting detail to this is actually a mom of a basketball player off of Bronny James's team. I don't know if you've seen video recently of him going to Bronny James games with LeBron and sitting courtside, cheering him on and stuff. And it's actually one of the moms sitting courtside is who he's trying to get with. And
so he rented out the whole Dodger Stadium to take a MILF to a game.
Yes, he has a table sitting on the third base line of near the dugout with a waiter nearby, and they're eating no telling what sort of expensive dishes they're having.
Probably pizza rolls. He
I'm
knows
sure
his
that's what it
roots.
was. Yeah.
They're eating
He's
Dodger
got those
dogs.
He's eating whatever they had at Degrassi High, junior high.
That'd be
anyways,
awesome if he had his wheelchair out there.
Rolls out.
Fucking Jimmy.
Time to roll out.
Got him.
But anyways, I just thought those were interesting little stories. But I just the fact that some helicopter news station,
Especially if they hovered for a while, just stood there with a fucking loud helicopter.
which it looks like they did, because he just he's scrolling on his phone because there's video of it, and then he just looks over his shoulder and up, and he just looks so freaking pissed off with this helicopter.
Well, because you think you've rented out a whole stadium for privacy, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking helicopter above you. It's that's the opposite of privacy. It's loud,
But what do you
intrusive.
expect? I mean, you're Drake. You're getting.
But also,
there's no privacy.
And why isn't he at a fucking Toronto Blue Jays game?
Because he's not really a fan of Toronto sports. Only
When they were in the finals? That
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's why he's fucking fleet chasing everybody else.
just like Lil Wayne.
I was going to say, when Lil Wayne, apparently when the Suns won, Chris Paul's like, yeah, come out here, man.
Yeah.
I was like, because you saw him from behind, he had nasty fucking hair. I was like, is that his 87-year-old grandmother? Who is this?
Is that a fucking gremlin?
And then you see, it's like, oh, wait, that's Lil Wayne. And I'm like, I was like, what the fuck, is he a Phoenix fan now? He's like, yeah, he just, whoever's winning right now, that's who Lil Wayne cheers for.
That's how all them guys are.
Yeah, fuck that.
All right. So last little bit here. You guys familiar with the Rachel Nichols stuff that's going on?
I am familiar.
Okay. Well, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm gonna play a clip here, and then we're gonna kind of discuss what's going on. And hopefully, this is the first time doing it. Hopefully, when I press play, it doesn't pop to an ad. So here we go. Cross your fingers.
Matter movement.
I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which by the way I myself know personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not going to find it with me and taking my thing away.
Nichols apologized for those comments by saying how deep
It really wasn't that bad, dude.
You hear this conversation at probably almost every workplace in the country. I mean, somebody stepping in and getting promoted, or them getting pulled off a project, or something to that effect. I'm sure these conversations go on across the country.
Right.
I just don't feel like she said it was written in her contract, hey, this is my deal. I'm all for, Maria Taylor.
Yeah, she's all for diversity, because that's what it came down to. She was like, the ESPN wants to diversify, their coverage, and so they want to put on Maria Taylor, and she's like, that's fine, but it's not my fault that ESPN's been shitty when it comes to diversity and women of color in workplace. So why does she have to, intrude on my jobs? Is how I saw it. It's they can each do their own thing. You don't have to squeeze someone in there.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it was. I mean, they didn't air the episode of The Jump that day. I don't even know if she's going to be back. She's not on the finals, and it's there's Bill Cosby's out of fucking prison.
Yeah.
and we're talking about Rachel Nichols like losing her job or being replaced
over what we just
Yeah,
heard.
and I was like, there's way fucking worse stuff that people have done or said.
Well, it's not
that
even
should've-
bad. I don't feel like what she said was bad.
I don't think so.
I view, and this may get me in hot water, I hope it doesn't. I view this move by ESPN as equivalent to, and I forget the name, the Rooney Rule in the NFL.
Yeah, it's like affirmative action.
Can you
the
remind me
Rooney
what the Rooney
Rooney
rule
rule is you have to interview at least one black candidate for like a
Or a
head coaching
minority
vacancy.
candidate.
or a minority.
So a
'Cause
lot of these guys,
that's how
a lot
Tomlin
of
got it.
A lot of these teams,
That's crazy. That has to be a
But
rule.
Tomlin's a great coach. It's not saying like he doesn't deserve it because of that. Like Tomlin's won a fucking Super Bowl, and he's
but it
proved to
doesn't
be a
work
great
because a
coach.
lot of these teams bring in Marvin Lewis just to check that box and get him
Cowboys
out.
did. Cowboys
Yeah.
brought in Marvin Lewis and said, "Okay, we did it." And then they brought in Mike McCarthy. Oh, that's our guy. Immediately, they brought in Marvin Lewis and,
and that,
McCarthy.
and it
And that was
happens
it.
across the league. And so I feel like, in a way, ESPN's kind of doing the same thing here. Not saying that Maria Taylor isn't. I'm not familiar with their work. I am familiar.
I hate that pregame with him or her. And
Yeah, but is it her fault?
no, what I was
It's
going to say is
definitely not her
I
fault.
hate Jalen Rose.
Yes.
I fucking hate Jalen Rose. He's
Well,
such a tool.
And this just kind of shows you where
Jay
ESPN.
Jay
Will,
Will. Remember that shit
sorry.
he said about Durant?
Yeah.
Quoting Durant, and Durant's like, I never fucking said that.
I love that he called him out.
And
Yeah,
this
he called him out
And this is
immediately.
the same thing because Jalen Rose blasted USA basketball. He's like, they don't have the guts to send an all-black team to the
Because of
Olympics.
Kevin Love being on
Even
there.
though they sent one in 2008 and in 2016,
Jay Williams.
That's
Such
the
a
thing, they're
fucking
not
they,
even
idiot.
they were
checking themselves.
They were all black.
Yeah,
And
dude, he
and then-
never fact check his shit.
And then Jay Williams comes out and says, after old boy got hired in Boston, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
congratulations on hiring the first.
That's so
black-"
funny.
And he's like,
Bill Russell was the first ever.
There's been
60 years ago.
not one, not two, not three, not four, but there have been 5 blackhead. And then
And Doc Rivers won one for Boston.
he said, "Oh, that was due to my account being hacked."
Yeah, he complained on his account being
no,
hacked.
own up to your shit.
That's what I'm saying.
You're
That's
pushing.
that's where I love the Rachel Nichols apology.
You're
is-
pushing a
At least-
fucking false narrative that you don't have any
Yeah.
facts to back
Yeah, he
up.
doesn't. He
You're-
just spews shit.
You're just taking that that wedge and you're just driving it further.
He wants headlines.
Exactly. Like they
being
were
ignorant.
In my opinion, they were wrong and just kept. They made up. Jalen Rose probably didn't say anything, but Jay Williams made up an excuse of his account being hacked and everything. I don't think the Rachel Nichols thing was that bad, and she still got on air and did a heartfelt apology, which
And that-
I respected.
That audio was recorded secretly. You know, like that's another shady thing. Is someone recorded
I
that
did
secretly
wanna
and then
bring that
dropped it.
So I don't know if y'all remember or not, but a year earlier there was talks about audio with her being recorded, and it never got released, but.
You think it was
Pretty much
this?
someone got because this was recently. This was about the finals, right? So there was I don't have the story in front of me or anything, but someone because I don't think it was much of a story, but someone recorded her secretly to get her in trouble for something.
It's like blackmail.
Yeah, blackmail. The story never came out, and I think that person got in trouble pretty much for that.
should.
Let me play this apology real quick.
So the first thing they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team.
I was thinking like a heartfelt, genuine apology.
Well, you
Not
can
like
hear-
Jay Will be like, she could have been like, that was recorded secretly and
Yeah.
that was taken out of context and blah, blah, blah. Like she owned up to it.
You could hear how much I meant to her. She's breaking up. you
Yeah,
know, like
I
halfway
think she
through.
really meant that. And I was going to say, the reason I hate their pregame so much is because I love the pre and post on TNT. So to me, to compare the two, one's just absolute dog shit,
Yeah, you can't
and one's
really-
like the greatest pre and post game in all the sports. Plus, I really don't like Jason Williams or Jalen Rose. They got Woj on there.
Woj is
Woj is cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like Woj. And really, Maria Taylor's probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that she got thrown into this. Like, I don't blame her at all either, because she was just, if anything, it was ESPN pushing her. Like, hey, we're gonna do this for you. We're gonna put you up in this job. Like, I don't know. Maybe she was asking for it, maybe not. But I don't feel like she was the one causing this drama. She just kind of got caught up in it as the
Yeah,
name
no,
that
I don't
was
even know if
dropped.
she's addressed it.
Yeah, I don't know
haven't seen
either.
anything from her
because you know
but-
she's just carrying on with her job, like
Yeah.
doing her thing. And they
As a
added
professional should.
and they added Malika Andrews to the sideline, who is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god,
babe.
porcelain like milkshake.
I think
Jesus, so hot, dude.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Porcelain Milkshake. That may be a show title right there. Okay, yeah, and then a little lighter note on Rachel Nichols. Right around the time that this all broke, it was flying around Twitter that her and Jimmy Butler had hooked up.
I didn't hear this. This is all
In
y'all.
the bubble.
Because
so much hooking up in the bubble.
there was a noise complaint.
Yes, I'm glad you know this.
On
Oh, shit, a noise
a
complaint.
noise complaint in Jimmy Butler's room. So when hotel staff went up to investigate, they kind of knocked on the door, and Jimmy Butler opened the door, and he was drenched in sweat, like glistening with sweat. And
It's like the middle of the night, right?
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Said he's dribbling a basketball.
Yeah, he's practicing dribbling basketball, so you should imagine.
The only thing he's dribbling is Rachel Nichols' titties all over the
He's
place.
clapping cheeks.
He's bringing the pipe show.
I feel like y'all are just trying to one-up each other now.
I don't have.
I guess Matt wins.
Yeah, he's taking her to.
No, but then there's also.
Matt had one more on deck.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
He's taking her to, and he lost it.
But there's interviews like Rachel Nichols scored the interview of Jimmy Butler after the Minnesota practice where he like went after.
Oh,
Kat.
she was so wet for all that.
No, but there's like
Dripping.
There's
Video,
like
yeah.
video of the interview.
They're eye fucking each
and
other
they're
hard.
yeah, like
real?
she is
Yeah.
like giddy like a schoolgirl. Like when
Yeah,
he
yeah.
looks at her, like he makes it like the camera is on him and he answers whatever question, and then he looks back and the camera comes back to Rachel Nichols and she is just giddy as all get out, like seventh grade love. Meanwhile,
Okay, we all just said they were clapping cheeks and all this. He answers the door like that.
so yeah, so that's the deal on Rachel Nichols. Just a weird deal. It's ESPN being ESPN.
It'll blow over, hopefully.
I mean, I hope she still has her job, obviously. That'd be some bullshit if she got somehow, I don't think she'd get fired, but kind of squeezed out, like give her a smaller role, and before you know it, like she's phased out. Because she's good at her job.
I could see that happening.
That's what I'm saying. I could see it happen. I hope it doesn't because it's really not, like I said, if Bill Cosby is, I think Alex mentioned how he's trying to do a comedy tour. Bill Cosby's doing a fucking comedy tour. Rachel Nichols should definitely have her job.
Without a doubt. Bring Doris Burke to the finals, please.
Oh yeah, I love me some Doris.
I already claimed Doris, bro. I told Alex, that was years ago.
I love me
She's
some
knowledgeable.
Doris.
She's thick. She got glasses.
So passionate about the game.
yeah, passionate about them balls.
All right, so let's move on to the next segment. This is a new one. Don't know how it's going to go. We're just going to and roll with it. So the title may change, but the title of this segment is called Questionable Behavior from the Internet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a story that somebody had posted on the internet, and we're going to decide whether they're guilty, not guilty, whether they're the asshole, not the asshole. All right. So here we go. So, am I the asshole for yelling at my stepfather when he suggested that he could walk me down the aisle? So 2 weeks ago, I, 25-year-old female, got married to my husband, a 26-year-old male. When I was 6 years old, my mom and dad got divorced, and 3 years later, my mom met and married Fred, who had basically been my surrogate dad for all those years because my biological dad hasn't been a huge part of my life, and Fred's kids, a 20-year-old male, 18-year-old female, and 16-year-old male, are basically my siblings. On last minute, my biological dad decided he didn't want to come to my wedding and walk me down the aisle. I got the call while I was getting my makeup done, and I was devastated, needless to say.
Damn, that's last minute.
No shit.
Fred was in the room with me, and he started comforting me, telling me that it would all be okay, and he said, quote, "If you want, I can walk you down the aisle." That just rubbed me wrong, and I was already a mess emotionally. Fred knew how much I wanted my biological dad, to walk me down the aisle, and he just suggested it like it didn't matter at all. Like I hadn't just gotten my heart broken, and I just snapped and told him that he was selfish and told him to get out. Fred left, and one of my uncles ended up walking me down the aisle. My mom only heard about mine and Fred's fight after the wedding, and now she is pissed off at me, telling me that I overreacted and I needed to apologize to Fred, even though I was just frustrated and he had suggested something totally out of left field. My mom told me that I was a selfish one, but apparently I'm ungrateful. But I feel like his suggestion was completely wrong, and I don't need to apologize. But I don't want to make things worse by not apologizing if I did something wrong. So am I the asshole?
No, it's her choice. And I think that if Fred needs to read the fucking room. She's just been devastated by that news. I understand he's trying to help out.
Wait, he just offered to walk her down the aisle, right?
Yeah.
No, she's an asshole. in my
She's an
opinion.
asshole.
No, it's her choice.
Yes, it's her choice, but he was just.
she can have whoever she wants. She can have a dog walker
Yeah,
down
but
the
why
aisle.
did she get mad at him for just offering?
Because
He's been
she,
a father.
because, okay,
in
but
her
if that
life.
situation just
The
happened,
biological dad wasn't in the picture.
Yeah, honestly, she's kind of an
Fred's
asshole
raised her.
for not offering it to Fred in the first place.
Yeah.
all I'm saying it's her choice, dog.
I totally agree with you on that.
And
by
I
the way.
think in hindsight, she's gonna regret blowing up because I
Yes.
think Fred came from the right spot. But it's her choice.
I can't believe that she didn't know she was an asshole immediately. She had to type this out on the internet, and
Wow, she's got an ally in me.
Not me. Dude, your dad was a deadbeat, sounds like. Didn't want anything to do with you. Fred stepped up and raised you when you didn't have to. You even said his kids were like your siblings.
she kind of spit in his face, like
You're a bitch.
right there. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
You know how many
You're
people?
right,
You know
it's
how
her
many
choice.
people are bitches on their wedding day, though.
Yeah, no, bridezillas.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like probably common.
Totally. She probably wasn't thinking clearly.
I think
but
in
that's why-
hindsight, I think she'll regret it.
But this is
But it's her
hindsight.
choice.
She's typing out on the internet, and
Yeah, but I'm
still
talking
doesn't
like years down the road.
understand.
Right now, she's asking for opinions,
Yeah.
and it's probably people are like, "Yeah, you were wrong, you were," wrong, and then she's gonna reflect.
I think she's.
And I think she'll
We got two.
regret it. I think she'll regret it, but at the same time, it's her choice.
But it doesn't sound like she's the type of person to self-reflect. Like, she's capable of self-reflecting.
You know what sucks is her husband, because you know now she's probably a bitch on that honeymoon, like, and he's probably just trying to get laid, and she's probably typing all this out.
Yeah. Who knows? Feel for you, my brother. All right, I got one
I
more
feel
for
for
you.
everyone in that situation, actually,
it's tough.
Feel
except for
for
the except
Fred,
for the
dude.
dad.
Yeah, fuck that dad. The
Except-
biological.
except-
dad.
biological
yeah, biological
dad.
dad. Fuck
Yeah.
that guy. Fred,
All right.
Fred, you seem like a good guy. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, fuck him so bad. Because I mean, what the hell? He's gonna step in and say he wants to walk down the aisle, then cancel as she's getting her
Yeah,
makeup
why
done.
I would think makeup's like the last thing you do. That means that was the day of the wedding, probably hours before, and he was probably like, I mean, what do you think in that situation? Like, my daughter's getting married, but bar opens in 20 minutes.
It has to
You know,
be
he makes that
something.
choice, and it's like, yeah, you're a piece of shit, man. He's the real piece of shit for putting his daughter in that situation to make that choice.
I'm sure she.
So the biological dad's the asshole.
That's a real Frank Gallagher move. I don't know if any of y'all are Shameless fans. That's a real fucking Frank
That's
Gallagher
perfect.
move.
Yeah, exactly.
But Frank Gallagher's likable, at least from the seasons I've seen. I've seen
He
the early
is.
seasons.
He is. And, you know, they write him that way. All right, I got one more.
Sure.
Am I the asshole for telling my brother to pay for my college, or we are done? So I, 20-year-old female, has been going to a really good college, and my grandparents have been paying for most of it. I say they cover about 90%, and I cover the last 10%. I have a brother, 29, who has been out of college for a while and has a good job and married. Well, I started to explore my sexuality while I was at college. Hold on.
Took a turn.
Hold on. I'll rein you back in. Hold on. And I am a lesbian. Well, my grandparents are really not okay with the LGBTQ community, and it is common fact that they will cut any money to a grandkid that was in this community. Well, I kept it away from them since I wanted to have college basically paid for. My brother found out, and he was supportive. Well, last week we got into an argument since I didn't wish to babysit any of my nephews. They are 2 and 3. I love them, but I'm just too busy. I'm not really a fan of small children. Well, we had to go out to dinner with the grandparents, and he let it drop that I was lesbian, and it turned into another huge fight, this time with my grandparents. I got a call today telling me that I will not receive any more funding for college. I still have 2 years left and could not pay for it, and I'm not sure if I can get enough loans to cover it. I called my brother and told him that this is his fault and he needs to pay for my college or I am done with him. He called me an asshole and that I should be angry at my grandparents and that it isn't his fault. I yelled that it is his fault and he spilled the beans. So am I an asshole?
She's not an asshole. She's a cunt. I said it for the first time. No, she's been relying on people the whole time while she just like goes around and finger bangs everyone on campus and gets like a free college ride. Yeah, scissoring every woman she can find, and then
Scissor me, Jan.
and then when this comes out, she blames everyone else. Like, how about you get a fucking job then? You know, and he probably was like, "Hey, watch my kids for a while," and she won't even watch her niece and nephew, but she wants him to pay for her college.
No. The brother's not paying for anything.
But she wants him to.
She wanted that, right? Did the brother
After.
spill the beans about?
Yeah, but she
her
said
being a
she wouldn't
lesbian?
even watch her niece and nephew though. But yet she expects for him to pay for college because of what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck that lady.
I feel like if anyone's expecting anyone to pay for something of theirs, they're like
Exactly,
you
they're
can't-
entitled.
yeah, entitlement.
Yeah,
like,
she's just an
expectations,
entitled
just-
like college girl who expects everything to be given to
I
her.
feel like they're all wrong. Like something that big, like your sexuality, like that, and you know your grandparents are against it.
Yeah, the grandparents.
That's
are,
pretty spiteful. That's pretty low. So that was a low blow.
So
Hey, be like me. If you can't afford it, take out loans. I work full time.
I paid for my college.
I work full time and went to college. Like,
Me too.
whatever.
So I'm saying that's what millions of people do. She expects to get 100% paid while she goes to some, whatever college. And I don't know, man.
Did I miss the part where the brother told the grandparents?
Yeah, he
All
spilled
right.
the beans at the dinner.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So
It's fucked up, but
Especially knowing that.
But the way she typed it, she sounds like a bitch. I bet there was something leading up. It's not like he just goes, "Oh yeah, Janet's a lesbian." I bet it was something that he finally just snapped and was
that's
like,
the problem with
"You
these
know what?
stories
Fuck
is
you."
like you
don't know all the context.
you don't know all the context. You're getting one side of the
But
story.
doesn't she sound like a bitch?
Absolutely.
Getting everything paid for,
both of these
won't even watch her niece and nephew, and
Bo-
then like expects everything to be given to her.
both of these cases sound like assholes, like bitches. So
We're next one's got to be guys. Sounds like
Yeah,
we're
do
just
you have-
railing
is
against
this only
women
two?
right
yeah, I'll find a male for next week.
now. Mark that.
Got him!
Matt on the prowl.
All right. You got me.
Bruh.
All right.
Over unders. When's that coming?
I've got that penciled in for a little bit later. Let's get on to the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. So as I teased in the open, our Mount Rushmore this week is our favorite 90s athlete. And I think we went non-Dallas.
Yeah, it's got to be non-Dallas. I don't know if Alex got that.
Yes, I
so we
did get
can't say
that.
Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith.
Yeah, because that'd be...
But
yeah,
I
we
do
got
for
Bill
me.
Bates.
I kind of wanted to go first just because.
Go first.
Go dog. We'll go.
So I
Clockwise.
was born in 1990, so like
Humble brag over here.
Well, I'm just saying
90s
that.
baby.
And I wasn't really into sports early on, so like kind of my list is sort of
Lame.
after the fact.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, mine was kind of hard because, I was born in 86, so I was a little older, but I really didn't start becoming like a hardcore
Yeah.
sports fan till the late 90s.
Yeah,
and
same.
I could do a lot better in like 2000s
totally,
athletes.
totally.
That one would be really hard for me because there's a lot of these guys.
I'll look for another drop. That's getting hard thinking about those guys next week.
That would be hard for me to, or because I didn't watch.
Well, we
a
could
lot of
always
these
do that
guys.
one another time, too.
Yeah, we
though.
can, for
We
sure.
just started with 90s, then we can do 2000s athletes for
All right,
sure.
So
That's fine.
Alex,
So,
kick us off.
So I got Wayne Gretzky on there. I got a few little tidbits about.
I've
trying
got
to
Wayne
show us
Gretzky on my honorable mention.
on your honorable mentions.
Yep.
Okay. So the reason why I have him on my list is I just remember reading some books about him in the library at school. And, like I remember specifically seeing how he would wear one side of his jersey untucked and then one tucked in. So I don't remember if y'all remember, but like dress code, I would try to untuck one side like I was cool like Gretzky, and I was really into hockey back then. So
Can I give you a fun fact about Gretzky
Absolutely.
before you're done? He was literally so good that he would get like 200 points 200 points in a season, and you get a goal and an assist counted as a point. And when you would play fantasy hockey back then, it would be so unfair to whoever would get to draft Gretzky. So they would have two Gretzkys. One would get his goals, and another team, like Alex's team, would get his goals. My
You'd
team would
get
get his
his
assists.
assists.
Because whoever drafted Gretzky was going to
is
fucking
that like
win.
baseball with Ohtani? Doesn't that? I don't play fantasy baseball.
Oh, with
but
pitching stats?
Don't they have to split?
Oh, I don't know. But I always heard that they had to split it because whoever drafted Gretzky was going to fucking win because he would get 100 goals, 100
Way too
assists.
many, yeah.
So they would split up. One team, Matt's team gets that. Alex's team
With
gets
Ohtani,
this,
it
and
probably
another
doesn't
pick.
affect winning that as much as that Gretzky does, but I think they have to split the pitching.
Dude, he's got like 33 home runs, like 70 RBIs.
insane.
He's going to be a home run derby, I think. We need to
him
preview
and-
that.
him
And
and
Gallo.
Gallo.
That's what they're saying. Like, that
That's
could
gonna
be the
be fun.
showcase. That'd be fucking awesome.
All right, so the second one I have, which this is totally retroactively, but Jerry Rice. I feel like
He's on my honorable mention.
honorable mention again.
Yep.
He has 8 Pro Bowls in the 90s, 4 that he had in the 80s, and 1 in 2002.
Let's say he was
He's got
good in
3 decades.
3
3
decades,
decades,
he was
dude.
good.
He's the greatest receiver of all time.
Yeah, I got arguably the best wide receiver.
There's no argument. It's him, then Moss.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then
1 and 2.
T.O.
If you look at the numbers, T.O.'s got a hell of an
Yeah.
argument. It's bullshit. He got held
Yeah.
out of the Hall of Fame for as long as he did.
I just wanted to start some shit.
Nah, I agree.
So actually, when I thought about Jerry Rice, I had like lost my train of thought and started thinking about like fantasy scores, thinking about drafting him in fantasy and like how good of numbers he put up.
That was a PPR league you'd win.
Yeah,
He'd be a
so
first round pick.
Bleacher Report has a article from 2011. He has the 6th best fantasy production of all time, with and this was in 87, so it's not the 90s, but he had 23.5, pretty much 23.5 points per game.
Did they say if it was PPR or non PPR for this?
I'm not sure if
Probably
if it
non,
was.
to be honest. He probably just got
I think-
100 something yards and a touchdown on average.
So this was just kind of like because the list, it wasn't like the best, like the most points per game was the number one. It was just who they thought had the best seasons overall. So I have the top 5 if y'all were interested.
Yeah.
Number 1 was 1961, George Blanda.
No shit.
Yeah, he had 26 and a half points per game. He had
Wasn't he a quarterback?
yes,
And
he
a
wa-
kicker?
That's funny because I didn't know that. That's why I wanted to
Oh,
bring it
yeah.
up. He had 3,300 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and he had
Damn, he had 36 touchdowns that year?
36 touchdowns that year, 16 field goals made, and 64 extra points. Which is
That's a lot of fucking points,
yeah,
dude.
it's awesome. And then I'll just rattle off the others. So 2 was Marshall Faulk in 2000. He had 29.6 points per game. 3 was LaDainian Tomlinson, 28.3. Number 4 was Jim Brown in 1963 with 22.4. And then Tom Brady in 2007, 25.3. That's a 2011 article, so I'm sure Mahomes
Yeah, because
or someone is.
no, it was McCaffrey almost caught
McCaffrey.
Tomlinson. He got
Okay.
stopped by like a touchdown because Tomlinson like sent him out a video and he's like, "Yeah, just couldn't touch me." And that was 2 years ago because McCaffrey missed like most of last year. But yeah, McCaffrey would have been close on that list.
And so my third for the Mount Rushmore is Tiger Woods. Won his first Masters in '97. He had 5 total. And I wasn't huge into golf, but everyone knew who Tiger Woods was.
Yeah, you weren't alive in the last 20
Yeah.
years and not know who Tiger Woods is.
And then to round off my Mount Rushmore, I have to go with Michael Jordan. That's an easy one, I feel like.
Yeah, I left him off just because it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like he would be on everybody's. So for the sake of not
That's why I wanted to go first.
cross-pollinating.
I'm glad I went first for that.
All right, what
got
you
any
got?
honorable
You got any
mentions?
honorable mentions?
Oh, no, I didn't think about that.
All
So.
right,
okay.
no worries. First one I got here, I just put, it doesn't count, but the first thing I wrote was MJ's a given.
Yeah.
Like you said. So I had 4 more. I had King Griffey Jr.
Okay.
He had the smoothest swing, and he always wore that hat backwards. And he looked so fucking cool doing it. I could never pull off a backwards hat like King Griffey. And he had the best baseball game. If y'all remember King Griffey Jr.
On
baseball?
64
Yeah.
and Super Nintendo.
Dude, those were
They
the best games.
They were awesome.
The best baseball games. Sean Kemp, Seattle Supersonics.
It's a good one.
He was the best dunker in the game. Little white guy with chili bowl. All I wanted to do was dunk, so I just wanted to be like Sean Kemp.
I thought you were
I thought you were talking
describing
about
Sean
Sean
Kemp.
Kemp. I was like, you got some wires crossed there, buddy.
I'm describing me in the 90s watching Sean Kemp. Listening to R. Kelly, I Believe I Could Fly, and I go and watch some Sean Kemp. I got Mario Lemieux.
It's a good one, bro.
He was picked by number 1 by the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he played all 17 years there. And he actually became like part owner like 20-something years ago, so he was part of the franchise.
You want to talk about a good game? Mario Lemieux hockey on Sega Genesis was next level. It rivaled, for me, like NHL 94.
Everyone talks about NHL 94
Well, it's
like
the
it's
most
the
iconic
Yeah, it's like the
hockey
greatest
game.
hockey game of all time.
Is that the one that opens with the Limp Bizkit song?
No, it's 94.
No.
I'm sorry, I don't know it.
Limp Bizkit was like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was
So
the
what
one
was
where
that-
you could skate parallel, and as soon as you got close to the goal, you could do like a what's it called, a wrister, right? And you got parallel with the goal, it would go in every time, dude. And I played that game so much that when you like won the Stanley Cup and your MVP would win the Conn Smythe, and it was spelled the same way as my last name, I literally thought at like 9-year-old me, I was like, they named a fucking trophy after me. Like, I'm so good at this game, it's the Conn Smythe after me. And it took me like another 10 years to realize, like,
I
dude,
didn't even
that's
know
not
about
me.
this game.
You were a 19-year-old believing the Conn Smythe was named
I'm
after you.
still like, yeah, guys. You know how good I was at NHL 94? I'm already at number 4, man. Well, it's Brett Favre. He's the ultimate gunslinger.
Yep.
And again, he was the cover of the NFL Quarterback Club on Nintendo 64. So I just played a lot of video games in the 90s
See,
and watched some sports.
I was going to put Brett Favre, but I didn't know what our criteria was because, his career spanned the whole
He won like 2
2000s
Super
too.
Bowls, though, in the 90s.
True. I just didn't. Very true.
Yeah, I
you
tried to
got
look
me.
up accolades for the 90s. I
got
wanted to
me.
make sure
I
it was
think Super
legitimate.
Bowl's pretty big accolades.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, honorable mentions. Barry Sanders. He could turn like a negative 7-yard run into a touchdown. Cal Ripken Jr. I was actually a huge Cal Ripken Jr. fan. I have a ton of his cards somewhere. Bulls fan back in the day. Tony Kukoc. How about that? Nobody
Nice.
thought they'd hear Tony Kukoc on this podcast.
No?
And another hockey player from the Flyers, Eric Lindros.
Yeah.
I was a big Eric Lindros fan.
He was a badass.
Was badass. All those guys are, man.
All right. So I'll go ahead and get these two out of the way because they've already been mentioned. Barry Sanders for me because I played running back as a child.
Flash. Or
Flash.
Splash. Or Splash. I like Flash.
Yeah, I don't remember what my nickname was, but they
Flashy
gave it to
Splash.
everybody. You're right. He could turn a negative gain into a touchdown.
You see those old highlights, and it's ridiculous. He'll literally backtrack 20 yards, juke, and then just find a seam. He's gone.
His ankles are made of rubber.
The only reason Emmett's the all-time rushing leader is because Barry Sanders retired.
Yeah.
He would have been 20,000 plus yards easy.
Yeah. My next one, Ken Griffey Jr. You know, you mentioned it, the swag, the
Smooth
hat,
swing, dude.
the
The swing
best
was
swing,
perfect.
the best swing in all of baseball,
Again.
all time ever.
Without injuries, he could have been, all-time home run leader.
I remember in 6th grade, I mowed lawns like all summer so I could buy his cleats for
the
fall
signature
ball.
cleat?
For fall ball, yeah.
Weren't
They
they
had
like
a-
Seattle colors almost?
Yeah, and then they had a strap on the side, and it had 24 like on the strap that you press down and Velcro down.
Dude, you should have thought ahead and bought like a size 10 or whatever you buy now so you could
To
still
grow
fucking
into
wear those.
Right.
Did you end up getting them?
Yeah,
Go
oh,
for
yeah.
it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it worked out because the
'Cause
team
you
I
got
played
laid?
on. No.
Oh, wait, you said
Come from-
6th grade?
I'd come for many, many years.
All right.
It worked out because the team I was on was the Aqua Sox. So
The fuck? You played for the Aqua Sox? That's the worst sports name I've ever heard.
actually, it wasn't. It was a minor league baseball team, and it was badass.
Wait,
Look it up.
The
It's-
Aqua Sox.
Who likes
socks.
wet socks? That's like the worst thing in the world.
Good
That's
question.
We're talking about the color, bro.
I got you.
But yeah, so Andre Agassi for me, my older brother. I've got a brother who's 11 years older than me, and he was a high school and college tennis player. So I watched a lot of tennis when I was real young. And you talk about swag. Andre Agassi had tons of it. His outfits were like wild and crazy, as opposed to like Pete Sampras, who was
Yeah, they were like the rival.
kind of buttoned up and real conservative. And Andre had like this wild hair, and turns out he was doing a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of drugs. And he was just a badass,
Just
dude.
living the dream.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with Andre Agassi, another thing, he did have like awesome hair, but then he totally embraced that bald look.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
owned that for like the last 25
And he pulls
years.
it off.
My
well.
Yeah,
man.
he looks good. What?
Said my man.
Oh, he just came out of nowhere with
Fellow
that.
Baldy over here.
Yeah, but for real, like he had awesome flowing hair, and then he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna shave it, and
didn't-
then he's just looked good like for the
who
last
did he
20 plus
marry?
years.
Was it Steffi Graf?
I don't know. For some reason, the first name to come in was Brooke Shields.
Him playing in blue jean shorts. It's just-
That may have been it. Let me look that up. Great radio. It's gonna
I was gonna press more drops, but I think we've had enough for a minute.
Steffi Graf, and then Brooke Shields.
Oh shit, we were both right.
Brooke Shields from 97 to 99, and he is still married to Steffi Graf.
What a great run.
Great run. All right, and my last one, kind of my wild card, Penny Hardaway.
I like it.
No, that's a solid pick.
Penny was cool. He had the commercial with Little Penny.
With Chris Rock.
Chris
Little
Rock.
Penny.
Yep, and then he wore, I think, number 1.
Yep.
And those old school iconic Magic,
Those are such
Magic
fucking awesome
jerseys.
retros. When they had Shaq,
Pinstripe.
it wasn't that back-to-back
Yeah.
drafts.
Mhm.
Penny and Shaq.
Yeah.
My God.
Penny Hardaway, like he was kind of like a cultural, like
And he
phenomenal.
was like a humble superstar.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
he wasn't that swagger guy. He was just like, I'm here to do a job. I got
injuries took him from us too young.
But now he's not fucking dead. I was gonna say he's coaching at
took
Memphis.
us from the game.
He said he took us
Took
from
the-
us too young. Makes
He's
like-
coaching Memphis?
yeah, he's the head coach at
University
Memphis.
of-
That's
yeah.
where Wiseman went.
Oh, okay.
And
University
he
of
got in trouble
Memphis.
for kind of giving him
I
housing
didn't
for
know you
the
were talking
family.
college. I thought you were talking.
And
Oh
he's
yeah, my bad.
rumored-
He's coaching at University of Memphis.
He's rumored for the Orlando job.
So's Jamal Mosley.
Yep.
Honestly,
Partial agree.
I got like Mosley, but I didn't know about this. That'd be a great fucking pick.
Yeah.
For to go from Memphis to them because he was iconic at Orlando.
Yeah.
That'd actually be a good hire.
And my two out of my 3 honorable mentions were already said. Jerry Rice, Wayne Gretzky, and then resident soccer guy. I had to go with Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo.
The original.
Ronaldo Phenomena.
that his
from
last
Brazil.
name?
No.
I was like, what a fucking cool
No.
name, dude.
It's like Ronaldo, Romario, something. You know,
So he should have just stuck with them.
you know, Brazilians have like 4 names.
Well, that's a great nickname, dude. I thought you'd go with like Tattoo. Remember him from?
I thought about it, but he was more 80s. But yeah, I thought
Okay.
about him. Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima.
You're right. They have 4 names.
They do. They do.
You fucking called it.
But his nickname was O Fenomeno
That's what the ladies called him.
or R9 because
Because of his
Ronaldo.
9-inch wiener.
Are you gonna hit a drop?
Yeah.
But yeah,
What was the thing? They're all. I don't remember. That's the only one I remember,
this one
and that's a fart.
this one's fart.
We need
bruh.
like little labels to print out.
Well, they have a label that goes around,
perfect. What are we doing?
and you can label them.
It needs to be upside down though, so I can read it.
They're
And
at
then
home.
Alex needs like one of the like a Stretch Armstrong.
Just like a back scratcher. You're trying to
Yeah, back scratch. You just slap it.
Yeah, if y'all ever want to know about Ronaldo, just YouTube his 2002 World Cup run when Brazil won. He's a phenomenal player.
Carried him.
I can't explain it. He's one of the best players to ever do it.
Better than Neymar's bitch ass. I can't wait to see him lose after this. If y'all want to stay and watch, we got Brazil and Argentina hopefully recording. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I saw you.
You don't think it is?
I did too, and I like triple checked it, but Hulu's recording live on Hulu is like very sketchy.
Oh, okay.
So he had 247 goals in 343 club appearances, and then he had 62 goals in 98 international appearances. So he's just one of the best to ever do it. So yeah, I had to throw a soccer
Better
guy in
than
there.
Pele.
No.
He's
No.
Brazilian too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Brazilian.
I was gonna say,
Pele was scoring goals in the World Cup at 17 years old.
Dude, I don't know much about soccer, but you see him just like take the ball and just outrun everybody.
Now-
you know, like he'll like high kick that bitch like 7 feet in the air somehow, and then he's just off to the races, outruns everybody, and just like
foot
clean
speed.
shot. Yeah, he's like fucking
Now,
lightning.
it was a different era, but he had 77 goals in 92 international appearances.
it's almost one per game.
Yeah.
That's a
He's
high
got
rate.
538 goals in 557 appearances
Dude, he
for his club.
damn near averaged a goal a game, which I'm imagining is extremely
So-
difficult.
Let me compare that to Messi.
Yeah, it's my dog.
That's mine as well.
We're going for Argentina tonight, Alex. Unless you're Brazilian.
Messi sets a lot of people up though, right?
Yeah, he's crazy assist guy. So he's got 76 international goals on 151 appearances and 474 goals on 520 club appearances for.
that's nice.
He's better rate with the club.
But let me see Cristiano's, just so I'm not biased. Cristiano scores at a fucking crazy rate.
Yeah.
On and off the soccer field.
He's got. That's not right.
Was it last podcast you were talking shit about Ronaldo?
Yeah.
So
I don't like him.
get this, for Real Madrid, when he was there from 2009 to 2018, he scored 311 goals in 292 matches.
God damn, he's the only one that has more goals than matches. Then
For Man United, he's there for 6 years, 84 goals in 196 appearances, and then he's been at Juventus for the past 3 years, 81 goals in 97 appearances. Then he's got 109 goals and 179 appearances for Portugal.
pretty good.
So
they're
for me,
all
in the
here.
last decade and a half, I've got to see 2 out of the 3 greatest players to ever play my game. So
We're not putting Neymar up there, right? He's not the
No.
third. It'd be the original.
Nope, it'd be original.
Ronaldo.
And then I've
Fantastic.
shown you highlight tapes of Thierry Henry,
That the Arsenal.
Arsenal,
Yeah.
where he's just like he literally like juggles the ball like halfway down the field, like with guys around
What
him.
year was that magical year? Like
04,
03,
04.
Yeah.
That was the
That was
invincible
fucking
year.
crazy, dude. I've watched that little documentary you sent me. It was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, the documentary. It was like a 10, 20-minute video, but
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
The-
it's fucking
Arsenal went
awesome.
undefeated in a Premiership season, which hasn't been done
I was going to say,
since.
has that ever been done?
Is
They-
that the only time it's ever been done?
I don't believe it's the only time it's been
Only
done.
time in
But
almost
it's just
20
the
years,
last time,
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the top tier league, you know what I
That's
mean? Like,
crazy.
those are the best guys in the world playing.
Soccer's such a tough sport.
I love it. All right, so with that, we're going to let the guests do the honors. We're going to move on to Pick Your Poison.
Oh, yeah.
Alex, get in there nice and deep. Get us a good one and read it out
Do
to
it.
us.
How do we not have it? That's what she said, drop.
We're going to have to figure out the drops, okay? This is only the second one.
Nice and deep. Oh, this is a big one too.
Come on! You're setting me up over here.
Would you rather have everything in your house perfectly organized by a professional, or have a professional event company throw the best party you've ever been to in your honor?
Give me organization
Yeah, I was
all
going to
day
say, as
long.
an adult, my house is fucking chaos. I need,
Yeah.
what's that little Japanese lady from Netflix?
Marie.
Kim? Is that just,
Oh, I wish I had. That's racist.
I think that's her name.
What are y'all talking about?
There's this lady on Netflix. She'll come in and be like, "Does this give you joy?" And if it's no, you fucking get rid of it. She'll like
Oh,
make you
okay.
pick and choose. Like,
It's like
what
a
do you want to
hoarding
keep?
show, or
Yeah, but
Marie Kondo.
okay. Started with the
Kondo.
started with a
Started with a
K.
K.
Started with a K. Thank you, thank you, Alex. Hey, racist.
Every kiss begins with K.
yeah, diamonds
Every
end
kiss
with
begins with
blowjobs.
K.
But anyways, I
What
would much
about-
rather have somebody come and organize. Because a party's a one-time thing. If you can organize my house perfectly and I can just upkeep it,
Are we gonna have a problem finding that stuff though? If someone else is organizing your,
no, they're going to tell me they're going to make a fucking spreadsheet and show me
Okay.
everything.
All right.
If it's a professional, this house is
You
going
got
to
another one queued up?
I definitely do not want a party thrown in my honor.
I only
No.
have
That
like
sounds
9
like the
people
most-
I want to invite.
yeah.
I want to invite everybody from our draft or from our fantasy league.
Y'all want me to pick another one
Yeah,
out?
pick another one out. I
Yeah, we
don't
got a
know
lot,
that good.
dude. We'll just we need a little fire flames.
Okay. Would you rather? I think this one's easy too. Would you rather humans go to the moon again or go to Mars?
You mean go to the moon for the first time?
Oh, we got a conspiracy theorist over here. Got a Kubrick fan.
Pick another one. That one sucked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
this
I would
segment
pick option C.
is not aging well.
Option C. All right. Let's see. Would you rather have amazingly fast typing / texting speed, or be able to read ridiculously fast? This is a decent one.
Oh man.
Well, I'm not a typist because it's not.
I have to type at work. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think I choose the read.
I'm a
but
speed reader,
That's because
dude.
I'm a slow reader.
I would grab
already.
a book and just like flip through it and be like, "What you want to know?"
God,
Take a quiz, get my AR points like that.
Yeah, give me fast reader.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'd read like all of Tolkien in like a day.
That would be pretty sweet. You just
Oh,
power
and let
through
me
some books.
let me just apologize to Troy for my mishap of calling the dragon Schmeagol instead of was it
Smog.
Schmog? Yeah, Troy was pretty upset by that, so I would like to apologize to Troy and to Tolkien and to everyone else who heard that terrible,
But like you
grievous
said,
mistake.
it's hard to.
Yeah,
come
I
up
was like
with stuff
making
on the
some
fly.
simile about something. I don't even know what I was talking about. I was like, yeah, he's protecting and hoarding everything like that dragon from Lord of the Rings. But anyways, Troy was pretty upset. So, and Troy's one of the only people who listen. So sorry, Troy.
Shout out Superfan Troy. All right, so let's get on to the movie review. Something we're all excited about. Everybody good? Anybody need a break?
Can we
Before
take
we
a break?
start, you need a break?
You never asked me that
Need
before.
a break? All right, let me see if I can do this without wrecking the whole fucking thing.
Don't fucking ruin this, Alex.
All right, and we're back with the movie review. As we mentioned, we are reviewing the 1996 childhood classic for us, Space Jam. Andrew, you got any tidbits for us?
Just a couple. It's got a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. In hindsight, that's at least a 70. That's a C minus. Easy. The director, how do you say this name? Pytka.
Pete. what?
Pieta? Pytka. Pitka?
Pitka?
Directed by Joe Pitka. He only directed one other movie called Let It Ride in 1989. He was known for directing commercials, and he holds the record for the most nominations for Directors Guild of America Awards for Outstanding Directing of Commercials. So he only made 2 movies, but he made like a shitload of good commercials, so he made a career out of himself, or for himself.
All right, is that it?
That was it, man.
All right, so let's get into it. So we open up the movie with a young Michael Jordan shooting hoops at his house after midnight, and we open up with a great song.
I was
We
saying,
open up-
we open up with R. Kelly,
Yeah.
yeah,
which
I believe I can fly.
I believe in fly. Like, don't endorse R. Kelly, but come on, we all thought we could fly back in '96.
Oh,
hearing
for
this.
sure.
Dude, especially after that opening scene.
Exactly.
Can we talk about this opening scene for
Oh,
a
yeah.
second?
Yeah,
that was totally-
talk about it.
Dude,
Summer of '73.
he's just out there dribbling, shooting hoops. His dad comes out, tells him he's making a racket, he needs to come inside. And he just says, one more shot. And he makes it. And
Well, he says, "How about you shoot till you miss?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
He said-
sorry, Dad, I'm Michael fucking Jordan. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna miss, right?
Bring your fucking lunch.
Yeah, I hope you brought a lunch bill, Dad, because I'm not missing.
But yeah, man, this scene is always it's the beginning of the movie, but it's my favorite, probably my favorite scene of the movie, which is because like I have this I lie to myself and tell myself that I'm gonna dunk one day. Obviously,
You've been telling that lie for like 10
I know.
years.
We had a bet about that back
I'm
when we worked
still
at
gonna
Target.
win that bet, dude. You're only getting older.
Yeah, I know.
Those knees are getting weaker.
I got to pay up with that one. But he looks back at the rim one last time before he goes inside.
I
and-
believe I can fly.
and he goes for that lunch, and then we're graced with
That opening was a very cool, like
Very-
the highlights of his
very
career.
opening.
Oh yeah,
That
he
was a
says
sweet opening.
he's
the entire song.
when he's back there with his dad. He says he wants to go play at UNC on a
Oh, yeah, we
championship
missed all
team.
that. He wants to go to
and
UNC.
He wants to go to NBA. And
It's
then
really foreshadowing his life.
yeah. And then I wrote, we're 3 minutes into this movie, and the remake has 0% chance to be better.
And
No,
I remember you
that
saying
opening was fucking sick.
it was so cool. There's no shot he dunked that ball. by the side.
I would love to see the outtake where he just eats shit and lands on the gravel.
I wanted to point that out. No hate on.
No, that's no hate. What was he, like 9 years
But
old?
as a kid, I fucking believed that if I, being the age he is,
that's what you told yourself one day.
Yeah, I'm like, if that kid can do it, I can do it.
That kid's Michael fucking Jordan.
So yeah, as Alex
He's
mentioned,
6'6".
we get a sweet montage of kind of MJ's career highlights.
Yeah, that was a really cool opening.
It was
credit.
like 3 minutes long. Like it was a long.
Yeah, it was the whole intro, like the opening credits.
But
is
it keeps
awesome.
it keeps you watching because you're watching basketball highlights.
And you're fucking jamming out to the song too the entire time. It's awesome.
That was the Space Jam song.
Yes.
After that, they had like
Welcome
a theme
to the
song.
jam.
Yeah, exactly. Which I said, in hindsight, this should have been on the Mount Rushmore of soundtracks for us. At least an honorable mention.
We overlooked it big
It
time.
had Basketball Jones. I had that soundtrack. It was, oh yeah, Basketball Jones.
Okay, so then after that montage of Michael Jordan's career, we get the scene of MJ retiring and announcing that he's going to play baseball.
He even mentions how his dad died, which was
real
what happened
life.
in real life. And,
Yeah.
I mean, he died, and his dad wanted to play baseball, so that's what he did. So it's actually like based,
Yeah,
a little bit
it's
on
factual.
true. Yeah, it's factually true.
And then the next scene we go to Moron Mountain and we meet the villain of the movie, who is played by Danny DeVito.
You got his name?
It's like Schwackhammer.
I can tell if
That's
that's
awesome.
an
I didn't-
M or a W.
I'm glad y'all have that sort of information because
It's like Schwackhammer.
I did not know that was Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
It's Danny DeVito.
man.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
He had a
Yep.
good run in the night. That was when he made
Yep.
Matilda right after
he's
that.
he's still fucking the best.
He really is. Like, Danny DeVito's like a national treasure.
So he's kind of the head
Next
of this.
guest. DeVito, come on, buddy.
He's kind of the next. God, I screwed that up. He is the head of like this theme park on Moron Mountain, and the next scene we get is him saying that the theme park's kind of down. They need a new attractions, and he wants the Looney Tunes to come be the new attractions. I think there's a scene like a kid was like, "Don't ever bring me back here ever again," and that's when
Yeah, it's like it's not
Schwackhammer.
fun or anything. So it's like that's why they need new attractions.
Yep.
Like it's not
Yep.
fun to kids anymore.
Yep.
They
So
need something crazy.
then we go to a scene with MJ playing in a baseball game, and it's pretty funny. Like, everybody's just in awe of him because it's Michael Jordan.
Don't you think like this season really happened
Yeah,
like this?
so
Like
the
guy was like,
catcher-
"Hey, thanks for the autographs."
Yeah, it's like, my kid, I'm a hero.
Oh, yeah.
now. And the catcher's like, he's helping MJ by telling him all the pitches that are coming.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's a curveball. Don't swing.
Yep. I
He ends
bet
up
that
swinging
shit really
at one.
happened.
But what I have written down is when he gets back to the dugout and everyone's kissing his
so
ass on his
nice.
team. Like, hey, man, that's a great strikeout.
And as Jordan being the ultimate competitor, he's like, "Man, that sucks.
Oh,
like,
for
I want to
sure.
get a hit. Like, I'm not trying to strike
then
out." But
there-
I was like, "Man, you striked out, but you look good striking out."
That Hispanic guy's like, man, when I strike out, I look ugly, man.
I look ugly. You look good.
I love that.
And
so
Jordan's
much.
probably in his head like, "Man, fuck y'all. Like, I just want to hit."
So he strikes out, and then we see the aliens fly over the stadium in a spaceship.
Great CGI too.
Yep.
And you notice his team he played for, that was the real team, the Barons.
Yeah, it was the Birmingham Barons.
Yeah, he really played.
Yeah.
That was the team he played for.
Yeah. And then we get our first Bugs Bunny appearance, and the aliens are looking for him. So they fly into Looney Tune Land. They're looking for Bugs Bunny, and we get this cool scene where they land and they're like, "We're looking for Bugs Bunny."
They
But-
go into like the multiverse though.
Yeah.
They have to break through like this. I don't know.
Warner Brothers trampoline thing.
Yeah, it's like they
inside
bust
the-
through, and all of a sudden they're in like a different universe. It's the Looney Tunes universe. That's where
Yeah.
they land, and they're looking for.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool because you had that aspect of the movie, like that setting, and then like the real world. And
I
it was
think they
kinda like
did a
combination
great
of both.
job of putting them together. I don't know if everyone's going to agree with that if it holds up like that, but especially when we see Jordan in the Looney Tunes world. I
No,
just
that's what I'm
like how
saying.
they,
It was cool how they
drawn
brought him into
everything
that world.
around it.
Yeah, no, I thought that was cool.
So yeah, they're saying that they're looking for Bugs Bunny. He's like, "Does he have long floppy ears?" Does he say "What's up, Doc?" And they're like, "Nope, never seen him." And then, so he thinks he fools them, and then the aliens shoot him with their weapons. And,
Yeah, their guns are as big as they are.
Yeah, and they take Bugs with them. And then now we're back in the real world, or the 3D world, as I think Bugs called it, the 3D world. Back in the real world, Stan, who is the publicist for the Barons, is dropping off
Are we not going to acknowledge who played Stan?
Yeah,
one Wayne Knight.
Yeah, it's the guy. What's the
Seinfeld, Jurassic Park. They got.
I know. So what you said on Simmons' podcast when they do the movie reviews, there's like a category for this guy. Like, isn't there like a category for the guy who's recognizable but nobody knows their name?
Yeah, but it's not the Wayne Knight Award.
I know, but what's that award called?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. You just put me on the spot. It's the,
Anyway, he's that guy.
I don't know.
You totally know him when you see him. You just
Oh,
can't,
you just don't know his name.
You just can't. Yeah, you don't know his name, but
Yeah.
you've seen him everywhere. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Now I'm going to have to think about that and, like, zone out while y'all talk.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's a bruh moment.
So yeah, Stan is dropping.
I think it's Joey Pants. I think it's the Joey Pants
Okay,
Award.
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because it's like you see that guy and you're like, I've seen that guy in 100 things. Okay, what's his
Don't
name?
know his
I have
name.
no fucking idea what his name is.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
he's been in 20 things that I
Exactly.
can think of. Yeah,
So
I had to write down Wayne Knight or else I wouldn't have known.
yeah, so we get Stan dropping off MJ at his house.
Bit of a kiss ass.
Yeah, well,
Big time.
his boss told him make sure he doesn't want for
He's
anything.
actually really good at his job, it seems like.
Yeah, make sure nobody
Oh, that's
bothers
true.
him.
Yes.
Because foreshadowing what happens at the golf course, he gives 110%.
Yeah,
You're right.
for sure.
You're right.
So yeah, MJ's at his house. The kids get home. Baseball game. I thought it was funny that there's a scene where the dog gets loose and he comes and jumps on MJ and is licking all over him, and the dog's name was Charles.
That's got to
for
be a shot at Charles
Yeah,
Barkley.
it was.
That's gotta be.
110% a shot. So yeah, and then we go inside, and I guess it might be his mom, maybe his mother-in-law is cooking dinner. They're having chicken and collard greens. He's like, I'm gonna need a good meal after my day today, and he's going spending some time with the kids in the family room, and they're watching. We get a Jim Rome sighting, and
Still a douche for so many decades. He is. That's all he does. He'll just say bullshit stuff to piss you off. And I'm Jim Rome. I make $10 million because I say shit that no one, that just pisses you off.
Is that
Yeah, I'm
the Skip
edgy.
Bayless?
And you know what? You're gonna talk. Yeah, it's like Skip Bayless. I'll
Yeah.
just say whatever the fuck comes to my head. But you know what? We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
It's and that's how he creates content. Can't fucking stand Jim Rome, dude. He has no talent. He contributes nothing to the sports world.
Y'all
And
were
he's
so
been doing it
pissed.
for 20
I wish
years,
Jim
25 years.
Jim Everett would have really got a hold of his ass that time.
But he kept calling him by the
Chrissy.
wrong name.
He kept calling him, I think, Chrissy.
He kept calling him by his name but you know what? That was a brilliant move by Jim Rome.
That
Because
blew
next
him
thing
up.
you know, yeah, he's all over. He's on ESPN because he just kept goating this guy, calling him by the wrong name on purpose.
Who is this? Who is he calling?
Jim
Chris?
Everett. you
Jim
said?
Everett, he's a former quarterback, I think, for the Rams,
He
the
was
Los Angeles
purposely
Rams.
calling him by the wrong name. He knew
Yeah,
he was calling him by the
kinda
wrong
picking on
name,
him.
and he's like, yeah, come on. So Everett finally just flips the table and comes at him. and they
Everett's
almost-
like, if you call me that,
Oh shit! I've seen this clip.
he's like,
and
if you call me that one more time, I'm coming across this room. And Jim Everett, I mean, he was like 6'4". He was an NFL quarterback. He was
Yeah.
a huge fucking dude. And Jim Rome's like 5'8" and still pissed off that he couldn't make his JV soccer
and that
team.
was that was the pinnacle of his career. But
Mm-hmm.
he's been able to ride that way for 25 years.
Is he still relevant? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
don't know.
He's on syndicated radio.
He's on CBS radio because
He
they
makes
play
millions of dollars a year for the
Talking
last
shit.
25 years. He's worth so
for
much
having
fucking money.
garbage fucking opinions.
He contributes nothing,
The
dude.
thing that irritates me about those type of
Like Skip Bayless, like you said.
it's like there's no way they believe half of the stuff. that
No,
they're
it's
saying,
for shock value. It's
Yeah.
so grab a headline. It's just
There's so
pure
many times I
bullshit.
see like
It's
a-
Stephen
a-
A. Smith. It's
Yeah.
it's that bit.
I like
Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless.
He
I
has
like
some,
Stephen
A.
yeah, but he has
guys.
some takes that are kind of outlandish as well.
I
But
can't-
that guy is so overworked with ESPN. They work him like
agree,
he's on like
yeah.
19 different shows.
He
a
just
day.
interviewed McGregor.
I was gonna say
for
I
this
watched.
fight.
Did you see him on the pregame? He had like 2 little gold chains right here.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a cream jacket. I was like, man. Of course, his hairline was like back where his headphones were at.
Have you seen
Mid-
the video of
mid-skull.
him like hitting on like a chick on the sidelines?
Was it
No.
cringy?
No,
Or was it
dude, he
smooth?
looks smooth as hell
Oh,
doing
for
it.
real?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good for him, dude. I actually like Stephen A. Smith. I at first I hated him because I was like, this guy's just he's a loudmouth.
Yeah.
But then it's like, he kind of says some funny shit, something I agree with, and then you realize like he's on every ESPN show, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like James Brown of ESPN. He's the hardest working man in show business.
His cowboy bits are pretty funny. Like he hates on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And Skip Bayless does too, but Skip Bayless was like a beat writer
But
in
he's-
Dallas.
he's-
But he just realized if I shit on Dallas Cowboys, it'll grab a headline.
Skip Bayless, if you watch him, he's a Cowboys lover.
He
And
claims to
that's
be a
bit.
fan. Yeah.
That's a bit. But
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
He used
Skip-
to write here.
Skip Bayless was the one who started the Troy Aikman is gay rumors.
Yeah, he
'Cause we
just
all
starts
heard
all this
those.
bullshit.
You didn't know that?
I had no, dude.
He
He
wrote-
start all that, and the next thing you know, he's like more publicity.
He either wrote for the morning news
I think it was Fort Worth
or
Telegram.
Star Telegram.
Yeah, I think it was-
yeah.
So he started. I didn't.
He
yeah, I
covered the
don't know his
Cowboys in the
history.
'90s, and he's the one who started
He would just make shit
Troy
up,
Aikman is
dude.
gay.
I just
Rumor.
remember a video of him like throwing either Dak. I think Dak's.
Oh,
jersey
because
in
of
the
his
trash.
No, well, what happened was, remember when Dak started talking about his depression and anxiety, and he was like, a real quarterback, a real leader,
What a
doesn't talk about
scumbag
that, or
take.
doesn't acknowledge that, and it's like, so he should hide his emotions and live in this box. It's like, he's a fucking human. He took so
Yeah.
much shit for that.
Well, that's how you end up with Robin Williams. When people don't fucking talk, so somebody who suffered from
Well, he had
mental health
early
issues.
onset Parkinson's, or was it dementia? Robin Williams?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had early onset either dementia or
Well,
Parkinson's. so
Maybe
he
that was a
killed
bad
himself.
example, but this,
Just don't bottle it
Well, I
up.
know what you're
That's how
talking
you-
about,
that's
though.
how you
You
end
need
up
to
with
talk
these
about these
stories.
You can't
things.
judge people, yeah.
That's a stereotype for men, though. It's like, oh, you got to be tough. You got to
Yeah.
be a man. You can't talk about emotions. And I'm like, fuck
No.
that, dude. If I'm having a bad day, I'll tell Claire all about
if
it.
you're really
Yeah.
dedicated to getting better,
Yeah,
like,
you have to talk about it. That's the only
yeah.
way to get through is talk it out.
Yep.
And Skip Bayless was the exact opposite. He was like, you got to bottle it in. You got to be a man. You can't show weakness.
Nope.
You're a football player.
Took a big L for me.
And it's
on
like,
that one.
man, fuck you, Skip Bayless. You've been having
I can't
terrible
stand
opinions
him,
for
yeah.
25 years.
All right.
Okay, that was our biggest tangent, and that was a deviate from the Jim Rome pick.
Space
So,
Jam.
back to
So,
Space Jam.
Fuck Jim Rome. Continuing.
Oh yeah, and they're watching some Looney Tunes on there.
Yeah,
and they
yeah. So
end up disappearing.
MJ's like, "Hey, don't watch this stuff," and he changes the channel for the kids of Looney Tunes, and that's when Porky Pig kind of breaks the not the fourth wall, but he kind of was like, "Hey, I need all you guys. We're having a council meeting, and
Yeah.
all the cartoons disappear, and the kids are like, where'd they go?"
Yeah, what
Did
the
y'all
heck?
did y'all catch the marquee at the emergency meeting? The marquee read, "Emergency meeting. Tonight, aliens turn us into slaves. Saturday, Tony Bennett, 8 and 10 p.m." Which I thought was fucking cool.
So yeah, that's why I need you because I'm so caught up in like keeping.
Well, The Simpsons taught me that, dude.
Yeah.
Anytime there's like a marquee
At the
or a
church-
sign
on the church.
you gotta read what The Simpsons put on
Yeah.
there because it's gold. So when I saw that, I was like, "It's slave us." And then the next, I was like, "Fucking Tony Bennett!" Like, hold up. And I rewound a little bit, and I had to write that down. Man, that was a great line.
So we're in this meeting now, and the aliens tell the cartoons like, "Hey, we're gonna take you all for slaves.
Yeah, they're cool.
Like-
Like, sorry, but we need
But
you.
here's the deal: like, you're all coming with us. You're gonna become our slaves." And Bugs Bunny convinces them that they should have a chance to defend themselves. And he literally like writes. He scratches out a title of a book. It's like How to Draw Cartoons, and he scratches out draw and puts how to defend or how to capture cartoons, and then he flips the page open and writes. And tapes a piece of paper
Yeah, it's
inside
a
that says,
piece of
"We
paper.
must defend ourselves. We must be able to defend ourselves."
Classic Bugs.
So they're trying to figure out what the best way to be able to defend themselves are, and Porky's like, "Can we play? What was it, dominoes or?"
Remember that.
he gives
But
a cup-
They had a great idea though. What they concluded with is, look how little they are.
Yeah,
Look how
that's-
small they are.
Play them in
Play
basketball.
basketball.
They
Like,
can't
I would
run.
come to the same
Yeah.
conclusion.
So they decide that a basketball game would be the best way to defeat the aliens. And then we go back to the real world, and we go to New York City to Madison Square Garden.
Dude. I'm glad that game was in the Garden.
And that was like Pinnacle Knicks. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that time period.
they still had a finals run in them. Didn't they make the finals in '99?
like 97, 98.
Oh, late '90s for sure though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they still had a finals
Against the
run.
Suns, so we got to
Really?
Yeah,
The finals?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying the finals.
the
I'm
game.
saying
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game in the movie.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got Charles Barkley.
So that way you get a 2-for-1. You get
And
cool.
Danny Ainge made an appearance. It was kind of cool to see the live action shots and see all the old players. Like Derek
That
Harper
was
was in
Danny
there.
awesome.
Ainge getting all frustrated with
He was like,
Barkley.
he's grabbing him by the jersey, telling him to get back on defense. It was Danny Ainge.
Damn, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, and so it was cool to see all the old players. I think Derek Harper, who's a Mavs legend, he was when he was playing for the Knicks.
Number
he
retired, yeah.
he made an appearance, so that was pretty cool. So they're at MSG and they're after the talent. They come up with this plan to find the best players in the world, take their talents, and then use that to defeat.
Stack on themselves like Little Rascals style.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a very
In a
little
trench- in a
rascal.
trench
Okay.
coat.
So the woman that was next to when they were in the trench coat, do you know who that was? Did anybody catch it?
Huh.
That was Patricia Heaton. She was the wife on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh shit! I knew she looked familiar, but I would never
Yeah.
guessed her name.
And
like,
then next to
"They're
her
doing
was
something weird
Dan
underneath this trench coat."
Castaneda, who was a big Simpsons guy.
Oh, he's the voice actor who
Yeah.
did probably
A lot of
the
people.
Cast, yeah.
He was the husband.
no shit.
Yep. So there's my little
Did you have to
nugget
check
for you.
how the fuck did you know that? How did you know
Because I
Castanella?
I recognized her, and
I can see her, but how did you recognize a voice
I recognized
actor?
him because he was had a bit like reoccurring role on Parks and Rec.
Oh shit.
And
What are you Googling for that, though? Are you like woman sitting next to aliens?
Well, you could recognize her, and then he's such a big Parks and Recs fan, he
Okay.
might have recognized.
I recognized him
Him
and
from just
then
Parks and Rec.
in the credits, I saw Dan Castanella or
Nice.
Castaneda.
It's Castanella, I believe. Yeah.
Castaneda or something. And then I was like, oh, that's the fucking Simpsons dude.
Who
Y'all
literally,
are
yeah.
pros.
Who did like probably 20 different. Him and Hank Azaria did like. Phil
Yeah.
Hartman probably.
Yeah.
Or 70% of the
And
voice
then
actors.
the lady who did like Bart and
Yeah, that blew my
I
mind
forget
when
her
I
name.
found out
It
that
was
it was
a
a
woman?
woman who did Bartley.
I forget
Just
her name.
shocked my
Kills
young
it.
world.
So yeah, they're at MSG. Their plan is still all the best talent in the world to help them defeat the Looney Tunes. So at that game, they get Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing. So they kind of slither. You kind of see this like kind of ghost-like, kind of like trail.
It was like a slimy
slime
ooze.
trail
Yeah.
onto the court, and they go up its nose, and you kind of see them kind of convulse, and then boom, they've got their talent.
Yeah, and then they can't even like catch a
They
basketball.
can't catch a
at that point.
basketball. They can't do nothing.
Which at that point, don't you like cancel the fucking game when like two of the best players in the world are acting like?
Well, we'll get to that. And then we see other players around the league get their talent stolen. And then we go across the country to Inglewood in the old Western Forum where the Lakers used to play.
Well, did you skip
Before
the other,
Staples.
you skip the other players, man. Who did we get?
Sean Bradley.
Well, it was third was Muggsy Bogues,
Yeah.
teammate Larry Johnson, and then we got Sean Bradley.
Well, I got it later, but yeah.
Oh,
you
that's
can go-
order.
They don't
went.
show
And
them.
then
getting
I
their
showed the
powers
Lakers.
taken, though.
Yeah, they don't show them
They
getting
kind of
taken.
skip over.
Yeah, they kind of skip over that.
Well, they were both players for Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we
Maybe
get
there's a deleted scene.
we go to
Yeah.
Inglewood at the old Forum, and the Lakers don't want to play. They've got Vlade Divac.
Can I give you a
Oh,
little
because they're
stat on
scared.
that?
This
'Cause
is what
they're
y'all were
scared.
talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling him. That was Vlade Divac, who was like, he was the spokesman for the Lakers. Like, we're not going to play. Anyways, that year, 1996, Lakers traded him to Charlotte for Kobe.
They're like, fuck.
That
yeah,
was
if you
that
don't
was
wanna
the
play.
that was the year they traded Vlade for Kobe. So that was like Vlade's shining moment as a Laker. Was in Space Jam, and then so basically they traded the guy from the scrub from Space Jam for arguably what third,
He was a good
fourth
player,
base.
though, right?
Fourth, yeah.
Oh, they're talking about Kobe. Like, he's really fucking good,
Well,
actually.
yeah.
Vlade was good, but
Vlade was
probably 37 and smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day at that point.
He was like Serbian, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's like Serbian or something like that, and he was. I mean, yeah,
I
he
did-
was good.
But
He was
what's
a good big
crazy
man.
is I don't remember him for the Lakers, Charlotte, but I will forever remember him in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sacramento.
But
Yeah.
that was the twilight of his career. In LA, he was still good. That's why they were able to trade Vlade for a young, point guard. Wasn't
Which
he coming
Kobe
out of
was. What pick was he?
like 8th or
Eighth.
9th?
Yeah.
I was gonna say 8th, but I wasn't sure if I was.
Because
confusing
Charlotte's
his
probably like,
number.
all right. I mean, something. It's honestly something Dallas would do. Like, oh, we could take this young player, we could take a chance, or we could take this established veteran.
Yeah.
Let's take the established veteran. Of course, the young player turns out to be Kobe Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was cool because that was like his last moment as a Laker was to make this scene with Space Jam, and then like they shipped him off and got Kobe for it. And
Interesting.
So,
Pretty fucking trade.
so yeah, the Lakers and Vlade and the Lakers, they don't want to play. And then the next kind of scene we get is they've got all the talent kind of in this basketball, and all the aliens touch it, and then that's the scene where they turn into the Monstars
In Looney Tune. World.
in Looney Tune Land.
And can we just agree? Like, feel bad for Sean Bradley because the alien that possessed him was such a fucking idiot.
He was
Yeah,
like the
dumb.
stoner.
It was like the stoner, like typical.
Yeah,
hey,
but
bro.
He was
what-"
also, but he was really. I mean, at least he was funny.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was Sean Bradley, like, why
And he
can't I
wasn't
be
an
like the
asshole.
dominant big man? He was an asshole, but he was a fucking idiot, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the only character that was an idiot.
Rest in peace, Sean Bradley.
He's not dead. He's paralyzed.
Oh, is he not?
Still pretty rough. No, he's just paralyzed.
Oh,
I don't
excuse
think they
me.
released a lot of information on that, but
Well, yeah,
But-
because apparently that accident happened months before it was even reported.
yeah. And if you're unfamiliar, he got hit by.
He was riding a
vehicle
bike,
while
dude.
Riding
He's like a devout Mormon, has like 8 kids, lives on a farm, riding a bike.
Yeah.
How wholesome is that? And he gets hit from behind.
7
7'6", yeah.
Yeah.
How
could
the fuck
you not
gonna
see
miss
that?
a 7'6" guy on a bike, and they hit him from behind, and it paralyzes him. So it's sad, like. But he made like $60 million in his career, so at least his family set up financially. Hopefully, he's got some trainers there to.
Oh yeah,
But
I wish him
damn,
best.
those legs got to be as linked to my body.
Well, I remember reading articles like he has to order custom beds, custom
Well, of
fridges,
course he
custom
does. Yeah,
tables,
everything.
Like everything's got to be custom.
Yeah.
I read an article like when I was not little, but younger when he was in Dallas.
It makes sense though.
Yeah, no, it totally does. Okay,
Regarding that scene, real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
I just thought it was funny that they showed up to the Looney Tune practice, interrupted it to. It's like their time of the court, is what they said. gained their powers by touching the basketball and then just ran off. They didn't even practice. It was just showing the Looney Tunes like, hey,
They
we're
were
about
just like,
to fuck y'all
yeah,
up.
like look how fucking badass we are.
Yeah.
Later.
This is a mind fuck. for you
Yeah, it was
guys.
psychological
That's all.
warfare,
They like
dude.
destroyed the court. I'm pretty sure, like breaking.
And
it up,
we got to mention how they get that court clean. Taz, of course, our
Yeah.
favorite.
that was we're
That's
when
the real
go,
MVP.
when they go to the practice gym and then it's like oh man, this is a piece of shit practice gym. Like,
That's
nothing
exactly
that
what they said.
a spit giant
all
spit giant.
wouldn't do, and they
Spit
all
giant.
start spitting, dude. I laughed so loud at that. It's just like perfect Looney Tunes.
That's the Looney Tunes moment, yeah.
They're just all spitting everywhere. The
And then
grandma,
Taz just,
Yeah.
and before you know it, perfect.
All right, so next we get a scene of MJ playing golf with
This was a great
the
scene, dude.
God legend himself, Bill Murray.
what a group of golf.
Oh, dude,
And Larry-
I would love to be the caddy for either one of
Yes.
them. Like us three could caddy for
What's
this
the
guy
guy's
any day.
name again that was there?
Bill Murray and Larry
No,
Bird.
the guy y'all couldn't remember his
Dick
Stan?
Wolf or something. What's his name?
What? you talking
Stan's real name.
about Wayne Knight?
Wayne
Yeah.
Knight. Like Wayne Knight
You
got
said
to
Dick Wolf.
He didn't get
Law
to play
and Order?
golf with them.
But wouldn't you trade like a nut to be that guy and
Dude,
be in
like,
that
so-
situation?
Bill Murray hits like like they all hit perfect shots.
Oh yeah, it
by
was
the
like
way.
who's closest. We're gonna win a bet.
Yeah.
Which I wrote down like how cool is that that's exactly how Jordan played. He was such a gambler.
So I wrote playing closest to the pin, loser buys dinner.
That's a
MJ
total
gets
Jordan.
a hole in one with some help. I was like, of course we get a classic MJ betting on the golf course
Dude, that's
scene.
and how cool is that though that he acknowledged that.
with Bird.
Yeah.
But he, he
Awesome.
was. I'm sure you all know he was a
Yeah.
crazy gambler,
Oh, he's
and
crazy
that's how he
competitive.
played. He's crazy competitive. They would probably play 10,000 a hole or some shit like that. So to even acknowledge that in this movie, I just thought that was really cool to
It should-
mention his gambling.
I don't know how much. I'm sure y'all are all familiar with Jordan, but just the fact that he used to play an entire round, even 2 rounds of golf before games sometimes. Like,
Yep.
Because
it was insane.
he just craved that that competitiveness.
I need some sleep. Like I can't be doing that. When I heard about that happening, same thing. I heard the same thing with
That's
like,
why he's the greatest. man.
AI. Like AI would go out to clubs all the time and everything, and like wouldn't
That's
sleep.
different.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
I'm
like
just saying, like
Harden going to strip clubs. That's not the same as like wanting to compete at every level, at every sport.
the
Like
competition
Jordan.
that Jordan.
Jordan was on.
That's all he
Jordan
wanted.
might be the greatest competitor we've ever seen.
So yeah, we get this golfing scene. You know, Bill Murray's over there trying to make his argument.
About
to
being in the league.
play in the NBA.
He's like, a lot of guys have been going out lately. I think
He's
we
like-
could use some
he's
fresh
like,
talent
"No,
in
I
the
don't-
league.
I don't think so. And MJ's like, I don't think so. He's like, why? It's because I'm white. And he's like, well, Larry's white. He's like, and Bill Murray's like, Larry's not white. He's clear.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
line.
So Michael or MJ ends up getting his ball.
He's getting some help from the Looney Tunes. They
Bugs
guided in.
with
He gets a hole
magnet.
in one
Yeah.
with some help, and then they go down, to grab the ball out of the pin, and he's pulled into Looney Tune land.
Well, right then, Stan was about to take a picture. He's like, get a picture of my first hole in one. Bill Murray goes, what the hell kind of camera is that? He goes, give me that. He goes,
like,
don't
"Don't
point
point
that
that.
at
Don't
me.
point it at me."
He goes, close the lens. And then the best part about that whole thing, so Jordan's gone, right? He got sucked down this
I
hole.
know exactly what you're gonna say.
And they're like, they just go back and like, I think we each deserve about a 2 on that
Yeah.
one. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so then he starts getting in the car with Bird. And he's like, so what do you think my chances are about getting in the league? Like, they don't even acknowledge the fact that Jordan got sucked down to like some other dimension.
I love that Bird was good with the 2.
Yeah, he's like,
he was
that sounds
"Just-
fair.
That sounds
He
fair.
goes, that sounds pretty traumatic event. I think we deserve it too. Like that was that was my favorite scene.
Yeah, I
dude.
loved it too.
Because just how candid and calm they were about. Like that would be so
They just
traumatic.
drive- they
to
just
see
drive
that.
off to the next
He
hole.
goes, yeah, he put it in gear. And they just they take off in their car.
And that gets to where the assistant guy, whatever, I keep forgetting his
Stan.
name. Stan, we find out over the
Dude,
next
he's a
few scenes.
dedicated
He's
worker.
dedicated. He stays there
He
at
is
the green
dedicated.
forever.
But
So,
anyways, that's a
in-
ride or die right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So MJ, he's now in Looney Tune land, and they're checking him out. Daffy sits him in a chair, and he's inspecting him, checks his ears, and I wrote MJ's ears are dangerously dirty. There's like a paper clip in there.
They look right through. He has no brain either. Right?
Yeah,
He sees
yeah,
bugs
just
from the other
straight
side.
Totally Looney Tunes. And then Bugs pleads with MJ to help them win their basketball game against the Monstars. And then we get the gym scene that you talked about, where they
The
kind
spit,
of
the
spit
job,
shine.
or whatever they call it.
and Taz kind of cleans up the gym. This is where MJ meets the Monstars for the first time, and he agrees to help Looney Tunes after Tweety of all people gets picked on. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the straw that broke.
Well,
the
and the
camel's back.
Monstars, they said he was balding and washed up.
Yeah.
He
They
said,
kinda
I
talk
love
shit.
that too. First off, they balled Jordan up like a basketball and dribbled him around.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when they tossed him off to the side, they called him Baldy. He said, "Baldy." He got so offended by it. I thought it was hilarious. But like you said, I thought that Jordan's
his acting was decent
in this movie.
Okay, just think about, like, if anyone watches this, just keep that in mind when you watch the new one, because I feel like LeBron's just gonna he's just gonna shit the bed because he's trying too hard.
Too hard.
Jordan, like, LeBron moved to LA to just embrace that lifestyle, and I get it financially. They said he's gonna become a billionaire this year. So yeah, good for you. You made $1 billion, but he's just such a fucking sellout to me. Whereas like cringy, Jordan was like, they came
Jordan's
up with Jordan.
cool, man.
Yeah, they were like,
I'm not
hey,
saying
Jordan, like, please make this. Like, we'll make a movie for you. Just do this. And then LeBron's like, hey, I like Space Jam growing up. I'm as good as him. Let me do this. And it's like, dude, you're not even close to Jordan. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they probably wrote this role for Jordan, whereas LeBron was probably the one who pitched the ideas to people on this. And I think he played it well, man. I think he just played himself. And he was just like,
for a kid's movie, it's a kid's movie. So
if he was himself, he would be gambling and smoking cigarettes and slapping asses, like we all would, right?
Yep.
Boys do.
All right. So after that, we see all the NBA players that are getting tested for what's wrong with them, and I wrote Sean Bradley, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley. They're getting all kinds of tests, EKGs, MRIs, CAT scans, all this kind of stuff. They're seeing shrinks.
Yeah, they're seeing psychiatrists and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the psychiatrists asked Patrick Ewing if he's having trouble performing in other areas.
He's like, what?
He said he got so offended by it.
It's like, of course not. And then this is where we meet Lola Bunny, who was looking like a snack in this movie. And you compare to the new one, they did her so wrong in the new one.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of it. I saw like a still clip of it, but
it's not.
I'm all right.
She didn't age well.
They just did it all wrong.
Well, they did the whole movie wrong. Trust me. We're gonna watch. We all have. Yeah. I gave all y'all my CBS or my CBS. I have CBS All Access too for Big Brother, but HBO Max. Like, we're all gonna watch it soon, and we're gonna all just.
I think I'm gonna go see it in the theaters. Actually,
Wow. It comes You're gonna waste your own money on that, then.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's your call.
That's questionable.
That's gonna be no for me, dog.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying I'm gonna like it. I already know I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna see it for the.
I just like basketball. I know it's gonna be bad, but I like basketball. I respect that.
All right. So the next scene we get.
Lola's a badass, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Let's not gloss over that. She's the best player, other than Michael.
She's the best cartoon.
I can call him Michael. You guys gotta,
Okay, so
I'll call him MJ. The next scene, we get Daffy and Bugs sneaking into MJ's house to get his basketball gear because he says, if I'm going to help you, I'm going to need my gear.
He needs those Carolina shorts
that he wore under.
Literally wore under every game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, MJ's kids find Daffy and Bugs, and they just accept that these cartoons are in their house.
Yeah,
and
they don't
hadn't
give
been slipped
any
LSD.
cares.
They're kids.
Yeah, I know. It's just like before, like the dog's attacking Daffy, right? Whenever they're going for the shorts, and Jordan's oldest kid is just like, "Here you go. Here's the shorts."
Oh,
like,
immediately
not even asking, like, "Wait, what are y'all doing in our house? Taking our stuff for?" But I guess whatever. They just know that they're
my kid comes
characters.
up to me and says, "Hey, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck were in my house. We're going to the doctor."
I'm gonna say
straight away.
But they kept it a secret.
My kid said, "How did you get my acid?"
yeah.
I hid that so well. And how many?
And
did
are
you
you
take?
okay?
We need to go to the hospital.
How many eyes do I have right now?
But they tell them to keep it a secret, so they don't tell any adults.
Which is a pedophile move, but
we'll
gloss over
that's
that.
grooming. With
That's
his
grooming.
gear,
That's very that's grooming.
with his gear, MJ is ready to go play basketball again, and then Stan finally finds MJ and tries to get him to come back for baseball practice. So, as Alex kind of mentioned earlier, like he is digging like a 20-foot hole down in like
it's a swimming pool,
30-foot wide hole, like looking for Michael Jordan because his job's on the line. His boss told him, "You take care of him. Nothing happens to him. Nobody bars him."
Looney Tune World again? Someone pulled him down, or what exactly?
I don't think that was ever.
No, it was when Daffy. He was when Daffy and Bugs were leaving the house, and they were on the and he saw him jump into a hole, I guess he just followed him. But he saw them two on the course, and he's obviously kind of what's going on here? Yeah, I guess he followed them. So they don't show it, but
here's Michael.
Then we get a scene straight out of E.T. and the forum is being decontaminated and everything is being tested, and you got the guys in the hazmat suits. I don't know if y'all have seen E.T. in a while, but You know,
I
the
remember that
scene
scene,
with
yeah.
like all the tunnels, like the plastic tunnel. That
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
traumatized me.
Oh,
as a
dude, that
child.
was terrifying at the end.
Yeah.
Why was that so terrifying?
I don't
Because
know.
you're a
It
kid
was.
and you don't know what the fuck's going
Yeah.
on.
It's
It
just like
was.
you're familiar watching it. It's just a nice little alien, and then it's everyone has.
Well,
them
it was
cornered
like,
off,
yeah,
and-
because to you it's nice. Alien to, the government.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's an alien entity that,
But that's
has
just
to be
weird because we
contained.
haven't talked about it, but it traumatized all of us because
Oh, it
I
did.
feel like I had the same feelings.
Oh,
I bet we all
it
watched
scared
it
the
when we
shit
were
out of
under
me.
10 too, so that was a reason too.
Where am I at? Yeah, so the form is being decontaminated and tested for whatever's going on, and then they announced that the season is canceled.
Yeah, I put the NBA shuts down and enters its first official quarantine.
Yep,
We
that's
had the
right.
second one last
nice.
year, so.
That's right.
I mean,
And so the next scene right after this is the Toon Squad getting ready for the game against the Monstars. We show them in the locker room getting ready, putting on their uniforms, all that jazz. And then we get the starting lineups. So
You got the
they're-
measurables?
I don't have measurables, but I do have the starting lineup. You got Taz, Lola, Bugs, Daffy, and MJ. I said a solid, balanced squad.
nice. Taz got a starting spot. I didn't
He
realize
did.
that.
Taz 2'4", Lola 3'2", Daffy Duck power forward. I like how Daffy's power forward. Point guard standing 3'3", Bugs Bunny, and I guess they put Michael at center. I put standing 6'6", Michael motherfucking Jordan.
And then,
Dude, I put it right here. So sorry to cut off,
No,
but the
go
game
ahead.
starts. Game starts, and Monstars are playing rougher than the Bad Boys Pistons. They immediately start just annihilating these guys.
This
Just-
entire game.
yeah, they were just mean as hell. Like probably killing people.
this is prison rules.
Like
We have-
even Bill Lambier is like, guys,
Is
chill
Martin
out a little
easy.
bit. Yeah,
is
it's a
Martin the
basketball
Martian
game.
the only referee official
Yeah, I
in this
think he
game?
was.
And he's getting his ass kicked too. By
They didn't even respect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the old west of basketball.
So, there's just montage scenes of the Monstars dominating, and I wrote Monstars dominate early and are leading big at halftime. And
I
then,
got.
go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. Yosemite Sam, did y'all notice him playing defense with his pistols? So he's coming out just shooting at people to play defense. That shit made me laugh out loud because he just runs up to him and starts shooting his guns.
And then at halftime, Stan gets caught spying on the Monstars.
Yep.
And then the next scene is,
the halftime score, by the way, was just kind of one-sided, isn't it?
yeah,
It was-
kind of one-sided, isn't it? To like 12 or
Yeah,
something. whatever they had.
you just see it running up, and it's like kind of one
Which I
sided.
think later in the second half we see it's like
They went on a
60-something,
fantastic run. Yeah, because at one point it was 68, 62, then they got up within 68, 66. So it was like
Which we can speak about the halftime for how they went on this fantastic
yeah, what
run.
did they
Yeah.
go, like on a 40-0 run to close it out?
So I said MJ is trying to rally the troops, and then Stan tells MJ that the aliens stole all the talent from the NBA, all the NBA stars, and then the Toon Squad drinks Michael's secret stuff, and they think it's gonna give them special abilities.
Which we
and-
see Bugs is just filling up. It's just tap water.
Yep, Bugs knew he just needed some belief, or the team needed some belief.
Do y'all remember that product though? Like that was an actual
Yeah, that was an
product you
actual-
could buy.
yeah.
I remember
I remember.
drinking Michael's. That sounds dirty. Michael's special stuff.
That's what she said.
Oh, you kidding me?
Yes, I-
You fucking weasel! You just loaded that and dropped it on me.
Yeah.
Oh, how the turntables!
told you I'd
What
be
the
hyped.
fuck? Oh
Yeah.
man, fuck you! Because I
How
had
do you
like
like that?
17 drops I could have used.
How do
already.
you like that one?
And how the turntables. I
How the
love it. That was
turntables.
great. That was great.
All
But
right.
yeah, I remember having that stuff, and it was like in a blue bottle, and I remember it was almost like Pop Rocks or something. Like it wasn't good at all, but you could just like dump. I'm not jacking off in my face right now. Let's just move on. Let's just
I
keep
wish
going.
there's video of that one.
Let's just go.
No, that's
Keep
the
going.
second episode in a row where he
Yeah, I was
guzzled
gonna say
dicks.
last time I was getting my sandwich ready at Firehouse, going like this, just jacking off dicks on my face.
All right, so the second half starts and the Toon Squad is making a comeback.
I can't believe you added Michael Scott without telling me, you fucking weasel.
Oh yeah, we wanted to get your honest reaction.
Yeah.
I heard him doing it here. And I'm like, I can't wait for him to hear it.
I set myself up, dude.
I've been waiting since we started. Like,
I was like, "What are you reaching for?" And he goes, "Just perfect time." Oh my god!
and then one cool before we kind of get to the end here. One cool scene that I wrote down is Elmer Fudd recreated Michael's like iconic dunk,
Yeah.
like the tongue out from the free throw line.
Yeah, he had a decent dunk.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Elmer Fudd was
yeah.
with the hops.
Yep. So, and then, like we said, they get it down to like 68, 66. It's right at the end of the game. And the boss comes down and tells Michael that he wants him to be the main attraction. And so Michael's like, all right, we're going back to his ruthlessness and kind of just competitiveness. He said if they win, he gets MJ. If they lose, they give all their talents back to the NBA
He makes
players.
that bet without having possession, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like 12 seconds left, and
They gotta
and
play
the Mon-
defense.
Monstars
and they
ball.
have defense. Yeah, it's
Well, what
Monstars
I put it
ball.
was that was a classic MJ betting mid game because he would do that shit.
Oh, would
like
he?
mid game, he'd be like, I'm gonna score the next 5 points or whatever. I'm gonna get this next rebound. Like he would make bets mid game. I was like, again, how cool is that? That it's that true to his roots of like betting mid game Jordan,
Oh, it's
where he
great.
upped the stakes like that.
And what's crazy is nobody at 96 knew.
Yeah, exactly, because that hadn't come out yet. So that was his true self. Like that's how he was. Like I'm so competitive. We're gonna make a bet right now. I'm gonna fucking beat you. Well, he didn't say that. Like I'm gonna beat you. If not, you can take me. If not, you gotta release everybody. That's how cocky but confident he was.
And he tells them, I don't know if you explained yet, but he's gonna pretty much like have him sign autographs all day,
Yeah,
and then play one on one
and
lose every time,
which would be hell to him
Hell to
because
him.
he's
That's
so
exactly what I
competitive.
thought,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
The
torture.
The final scene from The Last Dance should have been like, and Space Jam was a true story.
Like that's why I had to retire
I
for a
could
couple
have
years.
ended up in Looney Tunes land.
Shit got real for about 3 years.
So they make the bet, and with the entire team hurt, Stan gets his chance and immediately gets hurt. He gets flat on the court, and they have to blow him up.
Yep.
They have to blow him, inflate him.
And as the air comes out, it's just the loudest farting noise ever.
Yep.
I set you up for that one.
Yep.
We both walked right into those. Matt's just like so quick to the drop.
So with 10 seconds left to play, they need a fifth player, and in steps Bill Murray. He gets his chance.
He's stretching. I love how
stretching.
he's just like stretching
Yeah.
every little muscle.
Dude,
He's
I think
he's so fucking ready.
He like comes in.
Oh
He's just
shit!
Bill fucking Murray, man.
I got
He's
a line.
awesome. He's the man.
So I saw this on Reddit from Movie Details. That line where it's line by Bill about how he got in the game because
I love it,
Somebody
yeah.
asked him. He says, "Producer is a friend of mine." Is a reference to Ivan Reichman, who produced the movie
Yeah.
and was in Ghostbusters with him.
Oh.
And
So
did
that
you-
line he said was actually true.
And did you hear that that line early in the movie when they were saying they were talking about team names, maybe the Monstars. He's like, we should be the Ducks. He's like, what kind of what kind of Looney Tune production would name a sports team?
That was
Ducks?
a total Doug, Mighty
Yep.
Doug. Right?
That was-
Somewhere in here
that's
that's written
funny.
down.
Yeah. So Bill Murray gets his shot, and then I wrote, after stealing the ball, MJ wins with his Stretch Armstrong dunk at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which started at like the 3-point
Oh,
line
it was
on
like
the other side.
If not, yeah, like
got grabbed at half court and then stretched out, and I think he dunked it while he was at.
so
the
they made a
3-point
point.
line.
They're like, you can do this too because you're in Looney Tunes land.
Which he should have
and he was like,
Anything's
"Y'all
possible.
didn't tell me this all along,
Yeah.
right?" And the whole time we got R. Kelly playing. I mean, come on, one more
Yep.
time.
Yep. So
Wins the game.
they win the game, and after the boss comes down, he's like, all right, all you can't believe you're choke artists. You're terrible. He's get back on the ship, and MJ looks at the aliens like, man, why do you take this?
Yeah, look how fucking big y'all
and he's
are,
like,
right?
well, it's because he's bigger. And then they
Bigger.
realize that they're bigger than the boss, and they literally like launch him into a space with like an Acme cannon from the Coyote.
Oh yeah, and then it's funny because they pan to the coyote, and he just kind of gives a little smirk.
Yeah.
Like he set
Like,
that
well
stuff
done,
up.
well
Yeah.
done. And then the aliens asked to stay in Looney Tunes land, and they were gonna let him in the whole time, but the Looney Tunes were like, I don't know if you're wacky enough, and then they kind of perform
They do their little thing.
little
show and dance.
spiel. And then after the aliens give their NBA stars their talent back, MJ returns to Earth just in time for his baseball game. And then MJ and Stan go to visit the NBA players and give them their talents back, and sure enough, they work. And we end the movie with MJ returning to the Bulls, which happened in real life.
Which
We're
With
in the
number
45.
change, 45.
We're in the
That's right.
45. And that, folks, was Space Jam. Please let us know on Instagram or drop me and Andrew a text and let us know what you thought. I don't know what we're doing next. Have we
What, next
decided?
movie?
Yeah.
Fuck if I know. You just dropped it on me.
I don't know. We'll
We
come
still
up
haven't
with
done Little
something good.
Giants.
So Space Jam 2 real quick. Did y'all watch the commercial for it?
Yeah, the
I
trailer.
don't think any of us are.
Pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got LeBron.
That
in it,
being
so
said,
I'm out.
Alex is going to go see it in theaters.
I am going to
He's gonna drop $12.
Yeah, he's going to drop real U.S.
no,
dollars.
I'll definitely go matinee and see it for like $5.
Early bird special.
Yeah.
I'm going to sneak in my own snacks.
I noticed in the trailer though, that it looks like LeBron's going to be animated. Like it's not.
Well, I think that's when he gets like sent to the because for a minute that like you said, Jordan went there and they were showing him his hell basically. To me, that was like I think that they're showing
okay.
like this is what could happen to you. You
That's
get
right.
there,
Jordan was
I'm shorter than
animated.
Kevin Hart, like just fucking lowbrow
Okay.
comedy.
So,
and then
I
speaking of
usually
brow,
don't
we got
check
AD.
check my phone during
Well, you're not
recording.
supposed to.
But breaking news: Braves All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. suffers torn ACL on Saturday and will miss the rest of the season.
That's
a big blow
sucks.
for
What are
the
we,
Braves.
Braves fans?
Well,
Why is
yeah.
that breaking news to us?
Because-
I'm just a fan of good baseball players.
Well,
Yeah,
did you
he's
see the other
amazing.
day he got like thrown at again and tried to charge the mound?
I didn't.
He
see
got like
that.
he's been thrown at like 8 times, like hit by pitch like 8 times this year, and I guess finally said fuck
Sorry,
it.
kid. That comes with the territory.
That was kind of weird that you just broke in with some Braves news.
Sorry.
We don't even
Well, he
cover
tore
baseball.
Tore his ACL. I mean,
Sorry.
did you see that?
Well, you know what? Since we started this conversation, like 13 people died across the world.
they're not as good at baseball.
So their lives don't matter, Alex?
No, fuck them.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's move on to sports.
All
We're
right.
tied right in.
Yeah. All right.
I
This
know
is
you're
something
such a
I
critic.
came up
Baseball.
with.
Calm down, Ebert.
Was that like Roger Ebert?
Yeah, because you're a critic. You just critiqued my.
That's
I
a
li-
movie critic, though. That's not like some, I don't know.
Talk about a punchable face.
What, me or Roger Ebert?
Just let's go. Let's talk NBA
You got to
finals.
answer the question. You're talking about me or Ebert?
You made me feel like a jerk for breaking fucking news. Like we don't talk sports on this podcast.
You broke in just to give us a Ronald Acuna update. We've never mentioned the Atlanta Braves.
We don't know how many
appreciate
how many of our listeners are fantasy baseball players. That's
Well, that sucks for whoever drafted Acuna.
shout out Troy. I don't know if you play fantasy baseball,
Well,
but
you just give a shout out then just because.
shot in the dark.
Hey, shout out my mom. I love you, okay? Thanks for giving birth to me. Sorry I wrecked your vagina.
NBA. Oh my god.
Well,
NBA
I don't know. I guess I
finals.
got to ask my dad. I guess I got a follow-up question on that.
Yeah, NBA finals.
All right.
Suns are up
all right.
2-0.
Suns are up 2-0, and I just came up with it a little over-under. So two-parter. So the first one's just going to be like strictly sports, right? I'm going to give each of y'all a question, a player with numbers. That's how it works, okay? So, for instance, Chris Paul, over-under 27.5 points.
For game 3.
Under.
No, game 17. Yes, tomorrow.
All right, mom and dad, can y'all chill?
Matt's not ready to kick some ass.
All I'm saying is like he wasn't a dick until you showed up.
Yes, this is all for game 3. 27.5 points.
I say under.
Over.
Hold on.
He's gonna be more worried about getting his teammates involved. I think it's
All
gonna
right,
be
so the
high
next
assist game.
question. Assist, 8.5.
Over.
Over.
Over. All right. Devin Booker, 25.5 points.
Under.
That's kind of low for him, too, because he really, to me, he's like their best scorer, but he's just been kind of,
Dang, I think
he
that's,
hasn't been on.
I think that's pretty close, but I'm gonna go under on it. I
Under?
got the Bucks to win this one.
Really? Okay. I got assists for Booker, 6.5. These are all going to be like halves because I'm like Vegas
Under.
asshole.
Over.
Ayton, 22.5 points.
Oh, he had a bad game too.
He'll bounce back. Over.
Yeah, I think it's over on him as well.
Rebounds, 12.5.
Over. Is this
Under.
good? Is it just Phoenix Suns stats?
Well, the only thing I had for Giannis, because to me he's the only decent player. Giannis, 34.5 points.
Over.
Under.
Under 12.5 rebounds.
Over.
Over. Over. Yeah.
Okay, side note, I had a friend at work thinks Chris Middleton's the best player on the Bucks.
Well,
How fucking absolutely ridiculous
I mean, the
is that?
second best player, right?
scary that
No, he's the best player. He thinks he's better than Giannis.
scary that he's operating a motor vehicle.
Yeah, I said,
but-
okay, dude, I get in such heated arguments with these guys at work because they think I'm I'm a fan of it. And I'm like, yeah, I get he can't shoot the open shot, but I was like, he is the most powerful athletic player
Yeah.
since LeBron.
He's a modern
and since
day
then,
Shaq.
Since Shaq, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said he's more athletic than Shaq because he will take a defensive rebound, take it up court, and he will Euro step from the 3-point line and fucking dunk it in. Who else can do that? And they're like, yeah, but that's his game. I said, yeah, and that game is one of 2 MVPs.
I mean,
and
if he wants to
carried
say,
a team to the
if he wants
finals.
to say Middleton's a better shooter, okay.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's
because
obvious.
he can shoot. Because
Yeah.
he can shoot. I said when they give him
Giannis
a 3,
is a 2-time MVP. Has he lost his damn mind?
and he's the defensive player of the year. I said when they'll give Giannis the ball, they'll give him that open shot. They'll say, yeah, you got to beat us with that.
Now-
but if he puts it on the ground, if he dribbles it to the coop, who the fuck's gonna stop him?
Yeah.
Even Ayton, who
No
I
one, no one
love.
can. That's what's been happening.
That's what I. And they were like, man, Chris Middleton's a better player than Giannis. I said, get the fuck out of here.
I will
dude.
say, I think this is why they're losing. By the way, this is my hot take. Giannis takes all the other players out of their offense. I feel like Giannis, he's such a ball dominant player,
and he shouldn't be.
And I agree totally. I think this is all. I kind of blame Bud for this, Coach Bud, but I'm so sick of seeing him year after year play 1v5 face up offense against the other team when he really should be getting the ball in pick and roll or whatever it is, post ups, anything like that. But he's just him at the top of the key running face first at a defense.
Yeah, they say, hey, you're big and strong, take the ball.
Yeah, this is the furthest they made it, but
that's what I said, dude. He carried this team. I said, take any player away,
But
even
look-
Middleton away from the Bucks, and they probably still make
look
it to
how
the
good
finals.
Middleton and Drew Holiday are when Giannis doesn't play. It's because they're able to play like a normal offense. It's not this person. I'm not gonna say it, like Luka will dominate the ball as well, but he facilitates. You know,
Oh, he's more of a passer,
Yeah,
and he can hit open shots.
exactly.
He can hit a step back.
Giannis can pass, but he's not a facilitator. He's not passing people open. He's just passing when he gets
And
double, triple teamed. You know,
And
So-
what I was telling him, it was like, okay, surround Giannis with shooters. How fucking good is this team?
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's
what
the
I'm saying,
thing.
because he can take that double team in the post and kick it out.
That's what we were texting about Connington. I think Connington's
I
one of
love
their better
Connaughton.
shooters, and
Yeah.
he hustles.
He's
and
a hustle
everything.
player.
He's not very good defensively, but they need that. They need more shooters, just like Mavericks do. I mean,
All
everyone
right.
got
Last
everyone
one, I got combined points, right? So the last couple games were like, what, 118, 105, 118, 108,
does. Okay,
225 points over under combined.
I think it's under. I think
I'll go under.
I think
Yeah.
Bucks win this game
Because
I
those
think
were
it's gonna
both
be
kind of high
defensive.
scoring games.
Yeah.
All right. So now we got part 2. Over under, how many can you name? This one's a tough one. So I have a backup.
Okay.
How many ABA teams can you name?
Oh,
Shit.
Not many, right?
one.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay,
queued up.
who got 2? Who can give me 2? Nobody?
I'm not even sure I can give you the one.
There's 3 that I could come up with for sure. And then there's like a bunch that you'll never fucking know. Yes, there's some teams that are right now like still in the league. They got to.
Do I have to name the city that they're from as well?
You can
Or-
get either one.
So
Hold up, you gotta give me a number, dude.
Okay.
You can do 2. You got 2?
yeah, I have 2, but I can't name the city for both of
Oh,
them.
you're good. Matt's out, so okay, you got to name 2.
All right, so I think the Mavericks were an ABA team. Obviously, we're not Dallas, but
the
they
name, yeah, you're right.
but-
They
but-
weren't Dallas.
see. I say I don't know the
It
city.
was Texas.
Texas.
Oh, I'm saying it was in Texas. Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Houston Mavericks.
Houston Mavericks,
But
and
you
then
got the Mavericks.
and then obviously the Squirrels. I believe, right?
Squires.
Squires.
I saw Squires somewhere around
Whoops.
here.
Yeah, it's probably Squires. That makes more sense
The ones that we all probably could have gotten. Well, not probably.
because
could've gotten,
Squires was Dr. J, right? I believe. I think he was on the Squires.
There was
of
one I
his
didn't write down because it
old
was like,
guards.
well, what was crazy is
All
they
right, so what's your
changed so many
3?
teams. San Antonio Spurs, Indiana Pacers, Denver Nuggets.
So the Spurs haven't changed since the ABA.
Well, they were the Dallas Texans, Dallas / Texans. I don't even know how to say this word. CHAPARRALS.
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 What
They
is
were the
that?
Dallas Chaparrals and the Texas Chaparrals. Then they changed it to San Antonio Spurs.
Okay.
Or was it? Indiana Pacers were always the Pacers. The Denver team went by the Denver Larks, and then the Rockets, and then they settled on the Nuggets. New York was the New York Americans, then the New Jersey Americans before settling on the New Jersey Nets, which now Brooklyn Nets, and then all the other ones are just really fucking.
Were you gonna say any of those, Matt, or did you have another one?
I knew Pacers
Or the
and
Lakers.
Nuggets. It was LA Stars, and then they went to the Utah Stars.
But there was the Denver Lakers, right? I'm trying to read
Larks.
upside down. Okay, Larks. Sorry, I was trying to read upside
Rockets,
down.
Nuggets. Okay,
Okay.
so part 2. I gotta get that sent out. Who can name the most Finals MVPs since 1990?
Does like duplicates count? Like, can I do
No,
like
that's
the
a
same guy
tiebreaker.
count as two?
That's the
Yes.
tiebreakers. Who won the most?
I think.
So you
You're
can
hit-
say Jordan, but that only counts as one. I'm not going to give you like all. Because he won.
I know, but
one.
when I say over and under, when I give my over and under, do I need to include him 6 times
Jordan
or just
would be
one?
one.
Okay, I got you.
You're hitting me on my weak sport.
Well, if I gave you soccer, you dominate.
Well, no, not even.
They're going to get better. I really just picked all this because of Alex being.
Yeah, no, you're
Which
good.
I appreciate. Thank you.
So how many?
I think I can
I mean,
do.
Dirk
I think
won
I can do
one.
at least 10.
At least 10.
At least 10. I can
You
probably
got,
do more.
you got 11.
No.
How many you got realistically?
Maybe 3 or 4.
All right, Alex. I guess it's up to you.
Okay.
Who you got?
LeBron.
Oh shit! I was trying to look at these pictures and it was a Jersey Mike sub.
Hell yeah.
LeBron's one.
All right.
Several. Yep.
Okay, so LeBron, Kawhi,
Kawhi.
Dirk, you already said. Kobe, Shaq, Jordan,
6.
Tony Parker won one.
Tony Parker, 2007.
Duncan has 5. I'm gonna have to say Duncan won at least one of those Finals MVPs, right?
Duncan, 2005.
Well, I'm at 8
2003.
right now.
You got 8.
All
I had to look at my fingers. Had to look up. Yep, that's 8.
Go
right.
ahead and take your shoes off. He need those toes.
Andre Iguodala, which
Yeah.
is recently.
Yeah, he won with the Warriors for guarding LeBron.
Yes, guarding LeBron. Who else do we got? There has to be some obvious ones. I feel like was Chauncey Billups the MVP?
2004.
Okay, so now that he's
Pistons.
got his 10, can I throw one out?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Was did Olajuwon get one for the early
You got 2,
90s?
dog. They went back to
absolutely.
back.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Rockets,
Yeah.
he was
94,
That's
95.
the thing is the 90s ones are kind of tough for me.
So the 90s, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan, Olajuwon, Jordan,
Yeah.
just because he took
Yeah, that makes
off.
sense. But where are the other?
Duncan, O'Neal,
Okay.
O'Neal. My God, there's
Yeah.
a sub again. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shaq won 3 in a row. Duncan, Billups, Dwayne Wade, fuck him. Tony Parker, Paul Pierce, Kobe Bryant, Kobe, Dirk, LeBron, Kawhi, Iguodala, LeBron, Durant, Kawhi, LeBron.
This is really the first final. Like, I know, I'm sure everyone's heard about this, about like the Suns haven't made it in 30 years, and it's been a long time for the Bucks as well. But this is the first time it hasn't been like, first off, LeBron in the finals, but either Spurs.
Oh, I saw that.
Warriors.
Yeah,
In
Warriors.
like 20-something years.
Yeah, it's like
It's like
the
3
West
teams or
is-
4 teams.
Well, it's refreshing. I mean,
That's what I told my friend. I was
I
like,
agree.
I'm rooting for the Suns, but I can't get mad if the Bucks win because it's not
Yeah.
a super team.
Well, I'm
It's a
rooting for
team that
Giannis
built the
now.
right way.
I always kind of root for the underdog, and since they're down 0-2 now, like
Underdog. How about the team that didn't make the playoffs for 10 years and now they're in the finals? Did you not listen to that stat from last episode? Suns
No.
didn't make the playoffs for 10 straight. The first team in the NBA history to miss the playoffs for 10 straight years or more, and then make the playoffs and then make a run straight to the finals.
yeah, I don't care about that.
I do. They're the underdog. You just said you like the underdog. They haven't even
They're-
made the
they're-
playoffs in 10 years.
They've been the better team. They have home court advantage. They're definitely not the underdog.
They haven't made the playoffs.
okay, that's
in
different-
10
that's
the
different
Bucks
teams.
have been the number 1 seed. They've had multiple MVPs on their team.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the better team coming in when you look at their record in the last 5 years. Whereas one team's
Okay.
just been lottery.
If this is over the last 5 years, then yes,
it's
I
been
agree
the last
with
10
you.
years because they haven't even made the playoffs.
Okay,
whereas
this
the
is over
Bucks
the
have
last
been
decade.
consistent.
But I'm talking about this year. They're the
They were the
lesser
number
teams.
3 seed.
They have more
They were the
talent on
number
their
3
team.
seed. The Phoenix Suns were the number 2 seed. So it's pretty close. It's not like one team went like 72 and 10. And
Okay.
70, I guess it is.
I mean, we
72
just
game
agree to
series.
disagree. I think.
Yeah, I think the Suns are going to win. Do you disagree?
No, I think the Suns are going to win as
You
well.
just said you rooted for the Bucks. Though.
Yeah, I can root for who
But you
I
know
can
you're
root for the team that
But you
isn't
know
going to
you're
win.
wrong.
That's what I'm just saying.
That's what
I was just
losers
making.
do.
I was just making that point that I
Like
root for I
losers.
root for the underdog, and right now Giannis is the underdog.
He's okay. He's won 2 MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year. It's hard to be an
Yeah,
underdog.
but he's down 0-2, and he has a hurt leg and a team that's not giving him shit on either. Well, on the opposite side
You know
of the
what?
floor.
Dirk didn't have
I'm
much
rooting
in that
for
team
him.
in 2011. He carried them. Dirk
Yeah,
better
and I
than
was rooting
Giannis.
for Dirk. You weren't.
Of course I was.
Okay,
I'm just
then what's
saying.
your
I'm making
point?
the argument that they were the underdog. and a bigger underdog against a super team.
You're bringing up past years when they
I'm
honestly
bringing up glory
honestly
years,
the
dog.
Sun honestly where the Suns. No, I'm talking about where the Suns concerned is because they're lucky that Booker even wanted to stay with that fucking franchise.
Booker's the kind of guy that would stay though. Where's he gonna go? I mean,
he'd be welcome with open arms anywhere he wanted to go.
He would be
but-
welcome, but it's up to him to
Yeah.
leave. He
Wouldn't
decided
he,
to sign that
wouldn't he want to go to
extension.
LA with his boo? Isn't he dating a Kardashian?
Dude, he's so close though. Phoenix to
Jenner.
LA is.
But yeah,
How
Well,
far is
same,
Phoenix
same.
to LA though? When you're a millionaire and you can just fly.
he's such a
jet.
cool fucking guy.
That's what I'm saying. He's the kind of. He's not gonna be like, I'm gonna go to LA and I'm gonna be like all swagged out. Like, no, I'm gonna show up at the gym. I'm gonna put in work. And they drafted him, Mikal Bridges, and then Ayton.
I love his
3
game,
out of
too.
4 years, and then they signed a couple savvy veterans. They missed the playoffs 10 years in a row, and then all of a sudden they're in the finals. Man, I love that story.
They got the first
And
round
they
pick,
built it the
and
right
then-
way.
They got a first round pick, and then they got Chris Paul, who's a floor general. Like they got some good pieces around them.
Oh, they got great pieces around him.
Yeah.
Adding Jay Crowder, adding Cameron Payne, those are underrated signings until hindsight shows you. Like, Cameron Payne right now, dude, I forgot he even played for us for a minute.
Too bad Chris Middleton doesn't have any more help on the Bucks.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. The better team, Phoenix.
Yeah.
All right. You got it all out of your system.
Yeah, thanks for letting us talk basketball.
No
for a little
worries.
bit. I appreciate it.
No worries. Anything else on
Rally
sports?
in the Valley. Been calling it since before the playoffs.
I bet you Sons and Four guys are just going absolute ape shit right now.
Oh yeah, I heard
You
he's like a
remember that
little
guy?
mini celebrity.
He is.
Yeah, he's signing
That old
autographs and
guy?
stuff.
That
no,
old-
No, the young guy
The
that-
young dude who got in a fight with the
Denver.
shit.
with
I
the
missed
Denver
that.
fan.
You missed.
He was
Really?
like Sons and Four, Sons and
He
Four.
beat
And they're like,
the-
He called that shit,
and-
too.
yeah, and then the dude swung on him and he ended up beating the shit out of him.
Oh,
and then
man, how did I miss
he
that?
went on a media tour. He was like on Barstool. He was on
Yeah.
ESPN.
He was on Joe
Hey,
Rogan.
he's got merch now. It's like Sons and he's known as the
Wow.
Sons and Four guy.
That's fucking sweet, dude.
Yeah, he's
Good
a young-
for him.
he's just a young cat
If
like
they
ours.
sweep
If they
it,
sweep in the
if
finals?
they sweep in the finals, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's
Sons
a
and Four
million
guy.
dollar. That's $1 million slogan right there. if
Sons
they
and
sweep in the
Four.
finals.
Yep.
Good for him.
While we're still on
I got to see that
basketball,
video. Though.
yeah, go ahead.
I have a gift for the podcast.
Oh,
I meant to.
No.
I was gonna throw it in early on, but I just thought I would give that to y'all. Let y'all.
I can't see.
Oh shit! This is awesome.
You know what this is?
I know exactly
And I
what
have
this
no
is.
idea what it is. I
Hold
can't
on,
see
hold
it.
on. This is gonna tickle our basketball fancy and our true crime fancy. Do you know what that is?
Oh, is that the Oh, that's the.
That's the Menendez brothers in the background.
picture.
Yeah,
So-
Lyle and Eric. So for the listeners,
So if you don't know, there is a famous.
How the fuck did you get this?
Let me see.
it was like $15 on eBay.
So there is a
That's worth
famous
it. Yeah.
card,
Yeah, I got you.
a Mark Jackson card, and he is playing for the Knicks. I
Mark
wanna
Jackson's
say
such a legend too. I feel so bad what happened to him in Golden State.
this is a 1990s NBA hoops card, number 205, and in the background, this card is infamous
And it's
because
perfect shot of him too. You can
Yes.
clearly
Front row.
see him.
it's got Mark Jackson and he's making what looks to be a bounce pass, and in the background you can see Lyle and Eric Menendez just days after they
I was gonna say
murdered.
that was after because they went on a spending spree.
Yeah, they murdered their parents, and they went on this spending spree with their parents' money, and they bought courtside seats to the Knicks. And I've always wanted this card.
There you go. Well, I got another one coming in the mail, so y'all can
Oh
share
my
that.
God.
But figured if y'all want to leave one here in the.
Yeah, this is going
We
up
need
on
like
the studio.
more of a wall space.
Yeah, this is going up. Dude, thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
I'm
Man.
gonna give you a hug after we end it
I'm gonna
here.
hold you
but-
to it.
Oh man, this is.
I would
so
give you a hug
awesome.
right now, but I'd probably poke you with my boner.
She said.
Oh, that's what she says. That's who Matt's hanging out with.
Hey, you have to include those people. It's 2021.
No, yeah, but I thought that was really cool.
dude, no,
I've
this
always-
is
Way to
dope.
turn the tables back on me again, Matt. You sly dog.
I do what I can. No, that's dope, man. Thank you so much.
It's such a
I don't know if
perfect
y'all
picture
talked
because it's like a perfect
Yeah.
pass, and then the fact that they're in there.
cold-blooded, man. I don't know if everyone really knows about this, but they pretty much took a shotgun to their mom and
Parents.
dad. Dad first, and then mom was sleeping on the couch, and then
Yeah,
shot her as well.
I don't know. Are you a true crime fan?
A little bit, not as much as y'all, but I know. But when y'all start talking about it, it gets me super interested, and I end up listening to the podcast y'all listen to.
I'm a
so-
huge true crime fan. So, in the trial, they tried to say, which there may be some validity to it,
being
that-
molested or
yeah,
something like that.
That the dad,
but they
molested
killed them
him.
when they were 21 and 18 years old. I'm not saying they couldn't have been molested, but
Right.
it couldn't have been recently, right?
I don't know.
I mean, shit. Who knows? But it just feels like a because I think the trial was like 2 years later after the killing, so
Yeah, 'cause
they had plenty of time to come up with whatever.
That's what
excuse they
happens.
wanted
Yeah,
to.
you come up with a fantastic story when you're sitting in prison.
Sounds like they were just spoiled.
So that's awesome.
That's exactly
Thank you
what
so
they were.
much.
They were definitely spoiled.
All right. Anything else on sports?
No, that's it. I just wanted to include that. Real
Thank
quick.
you so much. All
Well,
right.
we got
so,
the Euro final tomorrow. Who you got?
I'm going for England. Football's got to come home.
Alex, who you got?
They're in,
I'll go with Matt because he's the expert here.
they're
So
in
you
their
got the-
first final of any tournament since 1966 when they won.
And they're playing in Wembley.
Yeah,
Or
which
Wembley.
Yeah, and
I was
they
gonna say Wimbledon.
the last
but-
time they won
Tennis?
the last
tennis, yeah.
last time they won the World Cup was in England. So it's kind
Oh,
of
shit,
the
it's like
66
full
World
circle.
Cup.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, was in England. So
Yeah.
it'd be kind of full circle.
Just like the last time either the
And
Suns or
you
Bucks
gotta
won.
feel for all
Yeah.
the
Dallas won.
you gotta feel for all the English wives if they lose. There's gonna be so much domestic violence, one way or another. So it's
Either way, London's gonna burn. So hopefully,
exactly. Either
hopefully
way, London's
Weren't y'all talking
burning.
about like a live video?
Dude, I would love
Or
to see a
something
live.
like that?
yeah, I would
feed.
love to see a live feed.
Are you
man.
kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch news coverage after the game tomorrow.
But yeah, so and then we've got like we mentioned last week, the Gold Cup, which is our confederation's kind of regional championship, regional title. That's kicking off tomorrow. The Gold Cup, U.S. is in action. I think Mexico played tonight. I'm not sure
Is
the
it
result.
Nigeria?
Mexico.
No, but who'd they play?
I'm not sure. Probably some small Caribbean nation.
Okay, because I got an alert something about Nigeria.
Oh, Nigeria beat U.S. basketball tonight by 3.
Holy shit! Well, that makes sense because Nigeria is not in South America. That's in Africa.
If only they wouldn't have had Kevin Love on their team, they
Fucking
probably would have won.
Jay Will, you were right the whole time,
You know,
man.
who wouldn't want a multiple-time All-Star with all that veteran experience, kind of leading young
Olympic
guys?
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Nigeria have like Hakeem Olajuwon's triplet sons or something? Like, how the fuck they do that?
Well, there's always a game where you just lay a turd internationally. I feel
that
like
was
with
a fat
basketball.
turd.
They just couldn't. They just must not have been taking it seriously.
Like I know,
Yeah, I could see that them kind of not taking it until like the last 3 minutes. Like, oh shit, we could lose
and maybe
this.
y'all correct me because y'all are the basketball heads, but I feel like we should just. And I know we don't send all of our big hitters. I just feel like we should never lose a game, ever,
no, we shouldn't.
ever.
Honestly, we probably shouldn't with the talent we have. No,
And I know we sent some. We
but
sent some talent.
but it's not mandatory. So guys don't have to go if they don't
Well,
want to. And if you're in the, you got to think if you're in the playoffs right now, you're not going. Quiet
True.
Leonard's not going. He's hurt.
True.
So
Well,
the options are limited. But even our backup to our backups,
Booker's going. Booker,
After the
so he-
finals.
Booker
I
and
was gonna
Middleton.
say,
As soon
so-
as the games are over, they're heading to the Olympics.
So
to
that'll
play.
give a boost, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
With
But I mean,
Booker.
they already have Durant, Tatum. They're
That's what
they're
I'm
stacked.
saying.
Yeah, dude.
They
if
should
you
not
have
be
Durant
losing.
and even those two names alone
Yeah.
beat Nigeria.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So
Wow.
maybe they weren't taking. It's a warm-up game.
I feel like,
Does it count towards qualifying or is it
No, we're
warm-up?
already in. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's just an
Okay, well,
exhibition.
fuck it. Yeah,
I'm not
good.
sure how it
Well,
works.
You know
I was
what?
looking
I'm
the other
happy for
day.
Nigeria then. They probably
Yeah.
fucking celebrating in the streets right now.
I hope that we get Slovenia versus
Oh my
U.S.
God.
because Luka's going to give them
I
the
would-
business. They probably
yeah.
won't. They won't win, but
Well, no,
Luka's
no,
going to
no.
give them the
Honestly,
business.
If you're U.S. playing Slovenia, don't you just like triple team Luka? Like
You
you're
have
gonna
to,
beat
yeah.
me in
Which would
any
be
other
such
way.
a would be. I feel like at least you have to do that in the second half. Let him see what he get. At least give him what
First
he can
half,
do
it's
in the
like
first half.
27, 14, and 9.
Like his
and then it's
stat
like, all
line?
right, now
Yeah.
we're going to put everything on you.
I
Because that's
feel
the
like
only
that's what
thing
it
they
has to
got.
be, yeah.
Exactly. You shut that down and you win by 50.
But anyways, I hope Slovenia medals. But yeah, this should be a pretty easy gold for the old US of A.
Yep. All right. So if we don't have any more sports, we're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to talk what are we watching and what are we listening to. Are you prepared for this?
A little bit. I'm not like deep diving into anything right now, but I do have, as far as like what I'm watching, I found a few YouTube shows about useless information. I thought it was interesting because that's kind of what
That's fitting.
exactly that I'm full of. So it's by some guy named Austin McConnell, and it's just literally, I think the first one I watched was like 15 minutes of useless information, and then he goes into 20 minutes of useless information and 30 minutes. I don't know. And the information will range anywhere from like, which I thought this was fitting with y'all's podcast. The director of Weekend at Bernie's was born on a Tuesday.
That's really fucking random.
All the way to after 2 moves by each player in chess, there are 400 possible moves. After the second pair of moves, there's 197,000 possible moves. After 3 turns in chess, there's 121 million possible moves. So it's just like weird, useless information like that. But I thought it was pretty cool.
There's a whole book series about that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it has like a squirrel on it, and it was like the book of useless information.
He's probably plagiarizing that book, and I have no
It
idea.
might be the
He's just-
author, because I used to buy those books all the time, and they would be perfect to read while you take a shit. No, for real. Like,
No,
I
I
guarantee
believe
I'd
it.
go to my dad's house because I bought him some,
Yeah.
and every bathroom of their house is a book of like that sitting on the
Mm-hmm.
top of a toilet. It's like a squirrel sitting there, and it's like the book of useless information. You just sit down, they got categories,
Yeah.
and you can just read random facts and just.
I think this guy does his own stuff though, because there's some
well, then he
some
definitely
pretty-
plagiarized.
some other useless but interesting information. Like, I don't know. Do y'all know Kiefer Sutherland's full name?
Nope.
It's Kiefer William Frederick Dempsey George Rufus Sutherland.
Jesus.
that-
Extra Brazilian.
That's excessive.
It is very excessive.
Especially Kiefer though. That's a pretty cool name.
yeah, it is awesome. He doesn't really need to expand it at all.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You already got one.
I feel like that could just be a one-namer. Like, I'm Kiefer.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe
Yeah.
and Kiefer. Sounds like
Yep.
a buddy cop.
And as far as what I'm listening to, it's a new podcast called Death at the Wing. It's about basketball players that have kind of met their demise super early. They talk about, I think one guy was dealing with depression, took his own life. Another dude, they with the crack cocaine, or pretty much cocaine issue back in the day. All sorts of stuff like that. So
The one you sent me a screenshot was Benji.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the 30 for 30 guy?
mm-hmm.
That was like about to just, I think he was in high school going to college.
Yes.
Or was he already in college?
No, it was just high school.
And they were like, yeah, just
But he
a
was number
nice-
one prospect.
Nice guy, like wholesome as fuck. And then
He
wasn't
so he got
in the
shot.
back?
He got shot, and then but the reason he died is because just in the neighborhood. I think it was in Chicago. In the neighborhood, they took him to a what do you call it? Like a non-trauma hospital. So they didn't have the
damn. So they didn't have the resources.
yeah, because they just thought he was another like gang member, super racist, and then
very
and-
racist. Yeah, just to see a 17-year-old black guy come in, like, oh,
And there's
this
actually,
gangbanger.
it was like a law made after this fact that any gunshot wound has to be taken to a trauma, at least
Well, yeah, it's a
in this
fucking
location.
gunshot. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a pretty cool podcast. It's called Death at the Wing.
Oh, all right. I'll have to mark that down.
Another basketball thing. You can tell I surround myself with basketball.
All right. What you got, Andrew?
Listening for me is actually another basketball podcast called What If? The Lynn Bias story. And it's
That-
from the
I just listened to the Lynn Bias. They have
Yeah.
an episode of him on that.
and this is from Book of Basketball 2.0, which is
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons. Yeah, he has like 17 different podcasts.
Yeah.
On Spotify. So this is on Spotify, but I think it's up to like episode 6 now, and I'm through like 4. So in the first 2 episodes, you know, the first one you get the backstory, you find out all about him. He went to Maryland. He was the number 2 overall pick. They compared him to Jordan, but even more bigger and stronger. Everyone, you know, they raved about his size and his strength, but it's like everyone they talked to, and there's like Michael Wilbon.
His
and,
nickname was the Horse, apparently.
Dude.
As I found in this podcast.
dude. Wait,
Yeah, sorry,
dude.
I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're
but-
good, because I wasn't even gonna bring that up, but now that you did. But anyway, I was gonna say, so he had like the sweetest jumper. He got drafted number 2 overall by the Boston Celtics.
Which I'm
They
sure
were-
is why Bill Simmons was like, he probably had
Oh,
all
they
sorts
like
of
all
information.
kinds of
on this
boners,
guy.
yeah. And they were the defending champions, but they traded. I can't remember who they traded to. Just say like Seattle SuperSonics, and they made this trade for a player, and they got their first round pick unprotected. Turned out to be the number 2 pick. So that's how a defending champion like dynasty was able to get this. And they were
About
like,
to add, yeah.
they were going to add bias.
Bird
to
was still good at this
Oh
point.
yeah, that was 86 Bird. Like they were, or 85 Bird, because this was the 86 draft. And they were like, this was going to carry them into
It's
the
their
next
future, yeah.
generation. So everyone was like thrilled about it.
Do you know
And
about this, Matt?
I know the Lynn Bias
yeah,
story.
the Lynn
Okay.
Bias,
Yeah.
like so he's celebrating the night of. They do a bunch of cocaine. You know,
Which
some people
he
say-
wasn't known for. I
well,
think that's
some people say it was his first time to do cocaine. There's other reports that
Oh,
you
is
know
there?
he's done multiple times. Like it's all we'll never know for sure.
Yeah.
But but like you said, so they said he was just doing rails of cocaine.
Yeah.
And when he was doing that, they said he just kept repeating one. What are you about to do, bro?
Nothing.
What do y'all see that baby dropping? They said he just kept repeating one thing: "I'm a horse. I'm a horse.
I can take it."
I'm a horse."
Yeah.
They just said he was, and then finally they're like, "Man, you've had too much cocaine." They took it away from him. He OD'd. They took him to the hospital. It turns out his cocaine was like 89% pure, which is pretty fucking good.
That was the
From what I'm
80s.
told, yeah, it was like 80s. But then, like further episodes, it talks about other players who dealt with addiction, like Spencer Haywood, who was like he was on the Olympic team. He was on the 79 Lakers, you know, like fantastic player, but he would freebase, do cocaine.
Damn.
Got him out of the league, got sober. He's actually in the Hall of Fame now, though. He was that good. But and then like later on in episodes, it talks about like the repercussions. So like the war on drugs was raging hard. You know, we had Reagan in the White House, and it was all about the war on drugs. So it talks about kind of how they exploited his death to almost like, I don't know, like to just kind of like oppress the black people and like pass all these laws in the name of him that really did nothing to help the community except
because they were lying. Well, again, I don't know what all stories they had about Len Bias, but the podcast I listened to was saying that like he was wholesome and didn't really do that sort of stuff, and then he OD'd on cocaine.
Well, that's the story. That was his first time to do it, which we'll never know.
Exactly.
Of course, his friends were like, "Oh yeah, we never did coke except for tonight."
But then people started saying it was like crack, and like it started just getting worse and worse. And it's like that's not what
you don't
he
know
was
what to
doing.
believe, and that was 35 years ago. But I will say, what's cool to me, the host John Ritter Kahn, spelt the same motherfucking way. That's really fucking rare. Y'all got popular last names. I don't. Conn. I looked it up.
I didn't know that wasn't popular. That sounds like it.
Kahn?
Yeah.
Have you ever met another Kahn?
No, I haven't, but I just wouldn't have thought it was.
Have you met another Edwards?
Yeah, I met your brother. I'm just kidding. It's a famous last name. There's more Edwards than Kahns in the world.
Do you have data to back that up?
Yeah, we can literally look it up on my phone right now.
All right.
You don't think Edwards is a more popular name? You had a fucking king named after you. That's why it's English as fuck.
How many Carters do you know though?
Jay-Z.
But I don't think Con
Vince.
is like Shasesk. I don't know. Pick a random name. I think it's more common than you think.
Okay, well, next time you're listening to something and you hear a Con spelled C-O-N-N, let me know.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I know.
What is it? Do you hear it elsewhere, but it's not spelled that
Yeah,
way?
Genghis Khan
Oh, okay,
had
I got you.
like 3 million kids, so he has like 3% of the population of the world is
Has his
descendants.
DNA, right?
I know
Yeah,
there's a
it's
trophy in
crazy.
the NHL named after Con.
That's me.
I know it's you.
Me and John Smythe. The other thing I'm listening to, it's Conspiracy Theories, which is the Parcast Network,
Yep.
but this is the CIA edition, so it's all CIA stories. So they had like the MK Ultra, then they had the Unabomber, but it was really just a rerun of their serial killer. It just barely touched on his experiments they had done at Harvard. And then the second one was, or the third one was about the secret army that they would after World War II. You know, they just talked about how the Russians outnumbered the Allies 3-1 when it came to manpower, and they were afraid that they were going to spread their, communist ways. So they left these called left behind armies or something like that. Operation Gladio. So they just had little guerrilla armies separated all through Europe in case Russia was going to invade to spread, their propaganda or their communist
It's funny
ways.
you mentioned crack cocaine in the CIA.
Well,
back
yeah,
to back.
because they spread it all through L.A. and the world. Well,
Chicago.
well, the black community as a whole.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, so they're on episode 3. It's going to be a 13-part special, so they got 10 more to go. And I watched the first Fear Street a week ago. If y'all know what that is,
It's
on
like
Netflix.
a 3-part Netflix, right?
What's really cool though is they did part 1 a week ago. Part 2 was dropped last Friday.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah, they're doing it 3 weeks in a row, which is genius.
It's R.L. Stein, right?
No, that's a different Fear Street.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're talking about, but this one's like rated fucking R for sure. So I don't know.
Okay.
I know there's a similar.
This is the Netflix show that just came out?
It's a movie. It's a trilogy.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it with Kayla.
You watched the first one, 1994.
Yeah, the part 1, yeah.
1978 came out yesterday. I watched
so
that one yesterday when Elizabeth fell asleep. It's even better, dude.
Really?
Like, okay, so I put on here, I watched the first one, and I thought it was going to be just like a slasher film. And then later on, you realize it's a witch story. And by the second one, it just completely cements it. And so the second one was in 1978 at a summer camp,
Yeah,
which, again, we talk about, dude, I wish I'd gone to a summer camp growing up. But, and it really kind of draws on the legacy of the town because it's about a witch who damned a city and kind of cursed them in a way. Well, not in a way. She definitely cursed them. So that was the second part. It kind of gives you more information, and I wasn't even going to bring it up until I watched the second one.
Yeah,
the
people
second
end
one
up
was
going
really
crazy
good.
and then start
Yeah, they
going on
get
killing
possessed,
sprees,
and it's
essentially,
like,
because of her.
it'd be like Alex. Alex was such a nice guy, and then he just snapped one night and killed 15 people. Well, Alex was just, overworked, overstressed. It's like, no, it was Sarah Fear, this witch that's cursed the town of Shadyside, and then you have Sunnyville, their rival, and they're like, yeah, they're a piece of shit. Shadyside, they all just go crazy and kill each other. So that was part 2, 1978. Highly recommend it. And then the third one they previewed is going back to the origin story of 1666 to show you the story of Sarah Fear and how she became.
Is it just 3 parts? It's going to be 3 parts?
It's a trilogy. So 1 week, it was a 3-week event. So part 3 comes out this coming Friday. What is that going to be? The 16th? So they released one every week, which is brilliant to me. That's what James Cameron wanted to do with Avatar. He wanted to make all the movies at once and then release them boom, 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 boom. So you wouldn't have to wait. So it's a really cool idea. I love the idea, and I've just put it. I thought it was a stupid slasher film, but it turned out to be a great witch trilogy. So I couldn't recommend it enough. I really like it. I'm looking forward to part 3. And
I love some of the killings in the first one.
Yeah, so dude, the second one gets even better. I'm telling you, the second one, part 1 got 80%, part 2 89%. Last thing I'm watching, Ellie's been really into volcano videos recently, which is pretty cool. She's like obsessed with volcanoes right now. We watched this one of this Icelandic volcano, and it's set to like this beautiful symphony music. So it's actually a really classy video to watch, and she asked me all these questions, which I have no answers for, but I can make stuff up because she's 4, and she thinks I'm really smart. But then we watched this one about Yellowstone.
I don't even want to hear about it.
We are all fucked if Yellowstone blows.
I know.
It can blow at any moment. It's a super volcano. North America would be wiped out, and that includes, Canada, America, Mexico, even to South America. They said it would spread across both oceans. The debris and ash would create just like a black cloud. So famine would, it's predicted up to 5 billion people would die.
It's going to happen
in the
when
aftermath.
I visit. I'm going to be.
Well, they said a super volcano erupts every 100,000 years, and then we're due for one. So I was watching this; it was very wholesome, and then all of a sudden Yellowstone came up, and I just total buzzkill.
Yeah, I try to stay ignorant to that sort of information.
Dude,
because
that's how we're all gonna go. Matt, on to you.
On to me. All right. So we're coming up on our favorite time of the year, which is fantasy football season. So I'm listening to
two-time.
We've got two-time champions on the podcast.
Well, I've lost 4 championships in that league. I've won 2 basketball and I've won a football. So three-time fantasy sports champion.
The
Let me know when you lift the Ziggy, buddy.
The two-time champions club does not recognize your accomplishments in other leagues.
Look at my house then.
But
I gave you my beers. I gave you a seat to sit
I know,
upon.
I'm talking shit right now.
Jesus.
I took you to a Mavericks
I'm pretty
game.
sure I've lost
I took
two
you to a Lakers game.
I've lost 2 championships to Alex, and I've lost 1 to Matt, and 1 to some other asshole. But 5th time's the charm.
That's what Buffalo.
Yeah,
said.
I'm officially the Buffalo Bills.
So I'm listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast. They give you really good information.
I'm glad you're familiar about that because when Andrew asked in our group chat the other day what I listened to, I was like, do I let him know about the Fantasy Footballers?
Yeah, and I watch them on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And then Alex came over and said, should I cut his brake lines?
I got to work. And then I've been listening to this other podcast called the Mile Higher podcast. It's a husband and wife team. They cover conspiracies, true crime. They're really good.
So it's not like a Mile High Club situation.
No,
I just talk about potheads, honestly.
Well, they're in Colorado, and they do.
They get really high and talk about.
They do have their own CBD line.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's called Mile Higher Podcast.
What is it again? They talk about? I'm sorry.
Just conspiracies, true crime.
Honestly, everything we're interested
They
in.
have a lot. They have a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
They just started.
160. They
wow.
released one 167.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
I'm about to give that one a listen.
So yeah,
about it.
they've got you covered. And then I forget his name, and I feel really bad, but we exchanged some DMs on Instagram. He followed us and gave us ratings, but his podcast is Killing, Missing, Hidden, and he covered a story.
Talked about that before.
Yeah. He covered a story that I was unaware of, but the story he covered was the abduction of Johnny Ghosh, and he was the second kid ever to be featured on a milk carton.
After Alex or Joe Walsh's kid?
No,
Not Joe Walsh.
Eaton. His name was like Eaton Sands or something like that. He was a boy out of New York. He was the first one, but yeah, not Joe Walsh.
It's the guy from
America's Most Wanted.
Most Wanted. Yeah,
Yeah.
Adam Walsh.
Yeah, Adam Walsh.
I thought he was the first one.
No. I'll look up the kid's name that was first. But Johnny Gosh, he was abducted. I want to believe it was in Iowa or Indiana one, but he was a paper boy, and he got snatched off his route, and then it exposed this wider network of child sex slaves and
Dude, I hate the word wider network of like pedophiles in the same sentence. That's just always fucking terrifying. And
yeah. So
terrible.
it was what really gripped me was so he was on a paper route and a guy pulled up in a car, called Johnny over, asked for directions, and Johnny had a wagon that he pulled when he was on his paper route, and he had his dog. And all the other boys reported saying that right before he drove off, he went up and he flicked his dome light 3 times to signal somebody else. And turns out a guy was tracking him, going from backyard to backyard, tracking him, came out in between 2 houses, snatched him, and then had a car come and pull him right in. And then there was reports of him being seen all over the place. Apparently one night he ended up making it back home to his mom and said, "Hey, these guys are after me. I can't stay long," and left. It was just a crazy...
Mom didn't fucking grab him and pull him in?
Crazy story. And then that led me to a Netflix series, or it wasn't a series, it was a documentary called Who Took Johnny, and it covered the case in depth. So,
nice.
Yeah, so that case...
You watched it all already?
Yeah.
So that stuff happened. So he comes home and he somehow still disappears after that?
Yeah, people are after him, and there's just a larger network of kids that got abducted, and Johnny was in there. And then apparently a kid who had kind of aged out wrote in and said that he was in the car that took Johnny. But yeah, it's a crazy story. So his name is Johnny Gosch, and it's spelled Gosch. Crazy story. Other than that, watching Big Brother, my eyes are itching so bad.
As far as that crazy story, just real quick, I saw a story recently. I don't have names or anything, but it was just interesting. Like this, y'all may know who I'm talking about after I say it, but this kid's karate instructor convinced the mom to let him and the kid to the son go out for a guy's time or whatever, and he ends up kidnapping him, takes him states away, does awful things and everything, and then he ends up letting him call the parents, and they bring the kid back, but after the cops told the dad what happened to his son, he figured out where the guy that abducted him
at the airport
was going to land at the airport.
Yeah.
News cameras were there recording the guy getting off the plane and about to ask him questions and stuff like that. And the dad's waiting.
He's on a payphone.
On a
Acting like he's
payphone.
on a payphone. Yeah.
Turns, just blasts him in the head.
Murks the guy.
The
right
guy
there
on live TV.
Yeah.
I was just
and I'm pretty
fucking
sure that dad,
applaud to that guy.
That dad got
the community put money
rallied around
together
him, yeah.
to bail him out, and then I think he got 3,000 or 300 hours of community service, and I think 5 years probation.
Because
100%, I do it. Give me jail time. I don't care. That's gonna. You know what I mean? I just have the utmost respect for.
Man, that guy should have been able to walk and eat a steak dinner that fucking night.
Well,
exactly.
and after he killed him, you see him arrested him. He's like, "Well, what did you have done?
Yep.
That was my kid."
I didn't watch the video, but
and then
apparently
the
it's on
officers
YouTube.
are like, "Yeah, I get it." They immediately understood. He molested your child.
Yeah.
I'd fucking kill him too.
It's still up on YouTube apparently.
Yeah, I've seen the clip.
I have
because
not
you see
seen
that
it.
guy just walking through, and he acts like he's on a phone.
So you
puts
see
it
it
down
all-
and just shoots
so
him
it's
right in the
all
head. And he's like,
happens?
he molested my kid. What would you do? And they're
Yeah,
like,
he just sets the gun down. He's like,
I'd be like,
"All
you know what? If I was a juror, I'd be like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, 'cause
guy.
they knew his
one
name,
less
right?
pedophile in the world.
Yep. All right. Anything else, boys?
No, it's kind of a depressing
Yeah,
way to
end
end
it.
on, but
Well, Alex, we
I wanted-
appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah.
This was a fun one, our longest one ever.
Oh, that's what she said. Oh, come on. That's
Sorry.
what she said.
Sorry.
Jeez.
hey, thanks for having me. I love the podcast, guys.
Yep.
Wanted to say that.
That one was for you, Alex. We appreciate it, man. It was fun. But as always, me and Andrew, we appreciate everybody reaching out to us. All the love we get. We appreciate it. It pushes us to the next one. But for Matt,
And I'm the next champion of Ziggy Stardust, Andrew.
we're out.